following is a presentation of the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports.
Well, in Raleigh, NC State opens a two-game homestand to close out the regular season, hosting Syracuse. Sophomore quarterback Zach Mahoney gets his third start under center for the Orange as they look to snap a 7-game losing skid. Welcome inside the ACC Blitz, powered by Ram Trucks, alongside the coach who was the two-time ACC Coach of the Year, not once, but twice. It's Tommy Bowden. I'm Katie Witham. It is hard to believe it is week 11. We have almost survived an entire season together, Coach. 8 teams right now in the ACC are bowl eligible. There has been tons of national exposure. But, Coach, what stands out to you this week?
Well, Katie, the ACC has been waiting for another player this late in the game to jump up in national perspective. It's been Florida State, Clemson, Florida State, Clemson, Clemson, Florida State. Now, all of a sudden, North Carolina jumps in at number 17. If North Carolina can just finish the season with one loss, going to that championship game with an undefeated Clemson, imagine the national prestige that will watch that game. Then if Florida State could somehow win out, beat the University of Florida, who is the Eastern Division champs in the SEC, more prestige and national conversation for the ACC. It's been a good week. It's been a good year so far for the ACC.
Well, another quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, is getting set to face Syracuse in Carter-Finley Stadium. We've got more ACC Blitz powered by Ram Trucks after this.
Thanks, Roddy. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Raleigh as we're getting ready to see Syracuse take on NC State. And for the Wolfpack, Jalen Samuels has been turning heads lately. This is a guy that ranks second in the ACC when it comes to touchdowns. He's leading his team in receptions. And this is also a guy that goes to 3 meeting rooms just to get ready for the week. That's the tight end, fullback, and running back meeting room. So in order for Syracuse to slow down NC State, they're going to have to start with the quarterback in Jacoby Brissett and Jalen Samuels. Now, the guy that's getting the start today for Syracuse under center is Zach Mahoney, the former 5th-string walk-on guy. Well, he's already proven he can be successful in the big games. I mean, look at the LSU and Clemson game, for example. And when I talked to Zach this week, he told me that he didn't really have an opportunity or even a chance to feel nervous or pressure going into a situation that really ever since he walked on campus in August. He said that he's ready for the game, and that's all a part of football. You got to be relaxed and ready to go. That's all I have for you guys here in Raleigh. Let's send it back to the studio with Katie and Coach.
Thanks, Nikki. Syracuse at NC State. That is our other ACC Network game today. And let's talk a little bit more about NC State. Coach, it's really been Mike Rose on the defensive side of things. He leads the ACC with 10.5 sacks, also 14 tackles for loss, and going up against Syracuse's third quarterback of the season, Zach Mahoney. I mean, that could pose a huge threat.
Yeah, Zach Mahoney, the walk-on sophomore quarterback. You have to have a lot of respect for those walk-ons. I was a walk-on for my father as a wide receiver at West Virginia. Started earlier, or played a lot versus LSU early in the year, was 16 for 38. And then last week against Clemson did not fare as well, 8 for 21. Be a lot of pressure on him. He needs help. You got 2 guys that can do it for Syracuse, Jordan Fredericks at tailback, and then you have Steve Ishmael at wide receiver. If those 2 guys, Frederick and Ishmael, can take some pressure off of Zach Mahoney by having productive days, you look for him to play well enough, hopefully, for Syracuse to have a chance.
Don't you love it when I ask you questions? I'm going to make you stay on the hot seat right now. Our other game on the ACC Network, depending upon your location, is NC State taking on Syracuse. Coach, what do you need to know? What's the one key in that one?
Well, I'll tell you, I think play at quarterback for Syracuse. They've had injuries there and lack of productivity. They've got to find a way to generate some offense. North Carolina against Clemson, North Carolina State showed they're a little bit vulnerable on defense. So in order for Syracuse to generate some offense somehow without walk-on quarterback Zach Mahoney.
Well, that's it for us here in Charlotte. We will see you back at halftime. For our entire crew, along with the coach, Tommy Bowden, I'm Katie Witham. Thanks for watching the ACC Blitz, powered by Ram Trucks. We've got 2 games, depending upon your location. You're going to be in South Florida or Raleigh when we come back. Enjoy the game.
A perfect Saturday afternoon for football in Raleigh, North Carolina. Those Pack fans are ready for the matchup today on Military Appreciation Day here at Carter-Finley Stadium with the flyover prior to the game. The Pack wearing those Iron Wolf uniforms, but the juice is in the house and they're jacked up and ready to play against the Pack. This is the ACC Network, and what a matchup we have for you today as Dave Doran leads his Pack onto the field. The Syracuse Orange, 3-7 on the season. The NC State Wolfpack, 6-4, already bowl eligible. It is great to have you with us for our game this afternoon. Tom Wormy, along with former Wake Forest quarterback Riley Skinner. And Riley, for this NC State team, their quarterback, the senior Jacoby Brissett. He's been efficient this season, 63% of his passes complete.
Exactly what the coaches wanted to see when they brought him in. He's ran this offense extremely well. He's been a leader for them both on and off the football field. I think the thing that's most impressive, you look at those stats, 2 interceptions. He takes care of the ball extremely well. He's led an offense that has 45 touchdowns on the year, but they've had to deal with some serious injuries in the backfield to their running backs, and that's where Jalen Samuels, number 28, the sophomore, has stepped up. He's been Mr. Everything for this offense. He's getting it done, catching the football, which I believe is his best asset as a player, and on the ground, 7 touchdowns. He's been everything for this team and really stepped up when they needed somebody.
For the Orange at quarterback, it will be the sophomore, Zach Mahoney. Now, this will be his 3rd start of the season, Riley, but those 2 starts, LSU earlier this year and Clemson last week.
I mean, how about that? Are you kidding me? For a 5th-string walk-on quarterback. But he's played extremely well in both of those big stages. Against LSU, he threw for 3 touchdowns, kept the game very close. You see what he did with those deep balls against that secondary. And then in Clemson, it was his feet that got it done. He ran the triple option very well, had 2 touchdowns. So he's kind of a dual threat, really tough for these defenses to really hone in on him. That's what NC State's going to be looking for, is how to stop him on his feet.
And for more on Mahoney, we go down to the field. 3rd member of our broadcast team, Nikki Noto.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, you know what? Riley said it best. When given the chance, Zach Mahoney has been pretty productive when he's been in the games. You know, he came to campus in August. 5th stringer, walk-on. I mean, it has been quite the season for Zach Mahoney, and he told me he hasn't really had the chance to feel under pressure, to feel nervous. He said that's all a part of the game of football. When your name is called, you got to be ready to go. And off the field, he's fun, he's relaxed, and in fact, coaches told us that he's one of the most liked guys on the team, and hopefully his teammates will like his production out there today. Tom?
Nikki, thank you. We look forward to your reports all afternoon long here at Carter-Finley Stadium. ACC football brought to you at HD by your local Tire Pros dealer. Win a VIP trip for 2 to the ACC Championship and Continental Tires at TireProSweepstakes.com. Syracuse won the toss and elected to defer, so the Pack will get the football to start the game on the opening kickoff. This is the 3rd meeting between these teams as members of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Each has won on the opponent's home field.
Tom, what I want to see today is I want to see Jalen Samuels used both in the running game, but mainly in the passing game. They move him around a lot with shifts and motions. It's really hard for the Syracuse Orange to get a beat on what he does offensively because their scheme is so complex. So I'll be keying in on Jalen Samuels and see what he can do against the Orange.
Morton kicks it away. Hines in the back of his own zone, and he'll stay there. Time for the Food Line Impact Players. And for NC State, we start with Hines, the exceptional freshman receiver.
He is. I think he could be the X factor in this game. He's so electric with the football, but it's what he does from the return game. 656 yards and a touchdown he's already had in the return game. And on the line, my man Joe Tooney. He's Mr. Do-It-All. 30 career starts he's had here at NC State, and he's played every position on this offensive line at one point in his career. They're really going to miss him in Raleigh when he leaves.
Jacoby Brissett, 6'4", 235 pounds, and a senior. He's going to hang on to it. Now Samuels around the corner, and Samuels up beyond the 30 to the 32, and he picked up 7. Time for the Food Line Impact Players, and we go to the Syracuse Orange defensive side of the ball.
Well, this is a sack leader on Syracuse. At 255 pounds, Ron Thompson is extremely effective on the edge because of his quickness. But the leader of this defense is sophomore Zaire Franklin. They treat him as a senior, but he's only a sophomore. He makes all the checks, and the guy leads the team in tackles with 66.
This is Brissett rolling out. Passes complete. Trower beyond the 40. and trowel to the 42, and the chains will move after an 11-yard pickup.
Matt Canada is so good as the offensive coordinator. He knows how to get his playmakers in space. A nice little what you call a pigtail route. You fake the slant, put your foot in the ground, and come back outside. An easy play action for Jacoby.
Samuels, midfield, and into Syracuse territory. Oliver Vigil made the tackle, 19 yards on the run to Quay Nichols, number 27.
Just good blocking up front on the left side of the line. This is where the veterans are for NC State. And Quay Nichols comes in.
Quick tempo from the pack. That pass complete. And down to the 25-yard line. 13 yards.
Well, I love the aggressiveness right now of NC State. Matt Canada's put his foot. He's got the gas to the pedal, and he's really going after Syracuse arms. Very confused right now on defense, not being able to get set up.
Nichols spinning close to the 20. He's the sophomore, 5'9" and 195 pounds. He'll pick up 6. Jacoby Brissett, 37 career TD passes. He's moving the pack down the field against this Orange defense.
Not a good sign where you already see Syracuse's defensive linemen with their hands on their hips because of this pace.
Into the red zone for the pack. Brissett buying some time as an open man. And inside the 15, 6 yards on the play to Braylon Cherry.
Good idea by Jacoby not to force it, but I think if you look at the film, he had David Greenidge there in the end zone. But again, that's why Jacoby's only thrown 2 picks, because he doesn't force it. He takes what the defense gives him. He's very good with his feet, buying some time and creating a play on his own.
85% of the red zone this season. 28 touchdowns, 9th in the conference in the red zone for NC State this year. Nichols spinning at the 10. And then several orange helmets converge. Zaire Franklin the initial contact and 3 yards on the play.
Good stop up front by that Syracuse defensive line. Chris Layton and Caden Samuels on the 2 defensive tackles. Young guys, 2 freshmen. This is a very young Syracuse defense. So I think what Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator for State's going to do, throw as many motions, shifts, personnel changes at them to get them on their heels thinking before they react.
2nd and 7. Brissett dumps it off at the 5, close to the end zone and shy of it. Jermichael Ramos, 9 yards, 1st and goal pack.
Again, I think he had his inside receiver right there that he could have walked in for a touchdown, but he holds on to it again. It's Jacoby Brissett's feet that continues to buy him time. Smart keeps his eyes down the field, delivers a pass to the 2-yard line, knocking at the door here for State on a very impressive first drive.
Ramos able to hang on to that football after taking some punishment near the goal line. 1st and goal, Wolfpack.
Notice the shifts.
Nichols. That's going to be a loss on the play. Juwan Dowell's coming in. Also number 51, Donnie Simmons, and a loss of 2.
Great read. They brought the motion across the line of scrimmage, and it left the corner unblocked out there. Comes in and puts a hat on the ball carrier. Great stop. Very good adjustment by the Syracuse Orange.
Donnie Simmons, the senior from White Plains, New York, does have an interception return for a touchdown. That came earlier in the season against Wake Forest. Now 2nd and goal. The handoff. Angling toward the goal line. A flag has come out on the play. It was Nichols on the carry, number 27, but again, there is a flag, and it's against Syracuse.
Offsides, defense, number 20. Half the distance is the penalty. 2nd down.
Our referee is Jeff Heiser. Scott Schaefer, 3rd year on that sideline for the Orange in the bright sunshine of Raleigh, North Carolina, on a spectacular Saturday here on the ACC Network.
Defensive penalties are one thing you cannot afford to have, especially around the 2-yard line with them knocking out the door. And a good play defensively, just not thinking and line up all sides.
2nd and goal. We go inside of 10 minutes, first quarter. Just outside of the 1-yard line. Brissett, he's going down. Couldn't find a receiver, and Brissett is sacked. Ron Thompson, number 13 for the Orange.
Fantastic coverage. All it is, it's a play action. You get a flat route, and then you get a corner route. Both of them were smothered up. And Syracuse just does a good job of beating the front. And Ron Thompson, we talked about him earlier. The guy's got 6 sacks, 4 forced fumbles on the season, 27 tackles. He lives in the backfield. There's a reason why he was our impact player on this defense.
The leader in sacks on this Syracuse team. It's the first time that the Pack has gotten a 3rd down on the entire drive, but it's 3rd and goal after that 6-yard loss. Brissett to the goal line and in. Touchdown, NC State. It's Jalen Samuels from 7 yards out for the Pack.
Mr. Do-It-All. This is just a standard pick play. They've got trips to the right, and they get Jalen Samuels out with 2 slant patterns on the outside, and Jalen slips behind them. Beautifully orchestrated. What a great opening drive for Jacoby Brissett in this offense.
14th touchdown of the season for Jalen Samuels. The Wolfpack striking first. Jacoby Brissett, the touchdown pass, his 16th of the season to Jalen Samuels.
ACC football is being brought to you by New York Life. Keep good going. By PNC Bank. By Hardee's. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Those special Iron Wolf uniforms for NC State on Military Appreciation Day here at Carter-Finley Stadium, and they work pretty well in those unis. Samuels with the TD grab from Jacoby Brissett to start the scoring for NC State. Maples will kick it away. Grizzly Esteem back for the kick return. Seven 0 Wolfpack scoring on the opening drive of the football game. Esteem runs up at the 12. Dives forward, close to the 28. We reflect back on the TD. Brissett to Samuels. Riley?
Well, it's your standard pick play. You see the motion come across. You got Jalen Samuels. Then you got Kylan Whitner. He's the nickelback trying to follow him. This is why this play is so effective. You can't get through that traffic if you run it right. Jalen slips underneath. The 2 stalk receivers do a great job of getting in his line, and it's just an easy pitch and catch. That's why you see it in college and NFL all over the place. It's such a good concept. So hard to defend.
Zach Mahoney at quarterback, the sophomore from LaGrange, Illinois, with Esteem in motion. Mahoney keeps it. That'll be a short game up to the 32. Time of the food line. Impact players for the Syracuse Orange on offense, and we start out on the edge.
Well, he's the best all-around receiver for this team, and he needs to be the comfort blanket for Zach Mahoney, the young guy stepping in, and he has been. They said they have the best chemistry, 5 touchdowns on the year. And then up front, Rob Trudeau. This guy's a Grizzly vet. He's got 42 starts in his career. He's really the glue for this offensive line for the Orange.
2nd and 6 for Syracuse. Mahoney flips it out near the sideline. It'll be a 14-yard pickup and a first down. Irvin Phillips, the sophomore from West Haven, Connecticut.
Be prepared all day to watch this triple option from the Orange, because Zach Mahoney runs it so well. That's your key defender. You need to put him in a predicament, which Mahoney does. He attacks his inside shoulder, makes him commit, and he is able to flip it out to Phillips. They say Zach Mahoney is so smart at running this offense and turn to the triple option is why he's been able to be so successful so far.
Irvin Phillips missed the first 3 games of the season with an injury, but has returned to be
very effective for this Orange team. This up close now to midfield. Jordan Fredericks. There is a flag on the play. Penalty marker on the field.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct against number 8. 15-yard penalty. Second down.
Just talked about him being the impact player. We don't want him to be the impact player that way, though. Just not smart, not thinking. You can't do that as the leading receiver on this team. You can be aggressive, love the enthusiasm, tenaciousness, but when you hear the whistle, hands off. Hands off.
Got tangled up with Michael Stevens. So you push it back 15 yards for the Orange, who are trying to snap a 7-game losing streak, rather. After losing last Saturday at home against number 1 Clemson, 37-27. Pass completed to 40. That's Ben Lewis. And he's dragged out of bounds, and there's another late flag. So Lewis made the catch for Syracuse. But the flag came out as he tumbled out of bounds.
After the foul, after the play, personal foul, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, that's Hakeem Jones, number 1, one of the 3 seniors on this defense. You've got to know better. You know where you are on the field, have some awareness. And I'd be mad if I were Dave Doran as well.
Jones, who's making his 36th straight start for that NC State defense, has a couple of interceptions this season, but that penalty goes against him. And now you spot the ball at the 42 of the pack. 1st and 10 for the Orange, their opening drive of the game in the first quarter. Mahoney, the pass. Lewis is wide open. Lewis down to the 10 and dragged down at the 5. Josh Jones might have saved some points. 37 yards on the connection for the Orange.
I love it. This is the toughest part about defending this triple option. Everybody gets sucked up into the read, and when they bring that motion behind, everybody keys the motion, man. Zach Mahoney does a good job of selling the fake and then finds Ben Lewis streaking down the field in replace for number 89, Josh Parrish, who's out right now in this game.
2 straight catches for Lewis as the Orange 1st and goal. Fredericks maybe to the 3.
And Tom, this is why they say Mahoney is so good at running this, because he understands who the read is and how to sell the fakes. Watch how the ball disappears in the belly of his running back. Everybody gets sucked in. Ben Lewis just sneaks by the entire defense, almost gets into the end zone. But great job by Mahoney orchestrating this offense really well so far on the first drive.
7th play of this drive for Syracuse. You look right into the eyes of the quarterback, Zach Mahoney from the shotgun. Looking to the end zone. Incomplete. Looking for Irvin Phillips. Diving for that ball, Justin Burris.
He's their best corner. On the front side, there was nowhere to go. They tried to run a flag concept, just a hitch in a corner, and then Justin Burris, one of the 3 seniors on the back side. Look at the one arm in front, good cover, stayed in his hip pocket the entire way. Mahoney had nowhere to go.
3rd and goal for Syracuse from just inside the 5 of the Wolfpack.
One-on-one coverage to the top of your screen.
Phillips spinning. Close to the goal line. He got 3.
I think he came up short again, trying to run the zone read, but they were not fooled that time. Number 2, Josh Jones comes in from the safety position and makes a key stop. Looks like they're going to settle for the field goal, Tom.
So Syracuse trying to get some points on the board. Cole Murphy, 13 of 19 on the season, an 18-yard field goal for Murphy. And Syracuse has put 3 on the board in response to the touchdown by by NC State to start the game. Military Appreciation Day here at Carter-Finley Stadium. Do some chin-ups and enjoy some college football here on the ACC Network. Back on the ACC Network in time for our Carolina Ford Keys to the Game with Riley Skinner.
Well, we just saw it. Capitalize on down the field throws. When you run the triple option, you only get a certain amount of attempts to hit them deep, and they've been a little bit inefficient. And that time, Zach Mahoney found his tight end and did a great job of that. And then gap discipline for NC State's defense. You watch the triple option. To stop the triple option, you have to have gap discipline and stay in your lane and do your job. Don't try to do something on your run. That's when the big plays break out.
Nyheim Hines, who does have a 100-yard kick return touchdown. That came in the game against Clemson this season. He'll have to move to his left. Should be a return starting at the 1. Breaks the tackle at the 18 and up the sideline before he's knocked out of bounds near the 30 by Kylan Whitner.
Well, Jacoby Brissett couldn't have been any better last drive. 5 for 5 through the 5 different receivers. And we talked about the Mr. Offense, Jalen Samuels, and he steps up big on the first drive. Why he's one of the best players on this football field, if not in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
7th TD catch of the season for Jalen Samuels. Brissett, we talked about his efficiency, how he does not throw interceptions. 200 plus passes this year. This one's completed to 50. That's Hines. And he steps out in orange territory at the 48. That's 25 yards on the play.
Tom, I used to love running this play when I was playing in college. You bring the fly sweep across, and then everybody thinks you're going down the field to the receivers, but it's the wheel routes and the guys that get lost coming out of the backfield with the motion. He found Nyheim Hines perfectly down the sideline.
It's near the 42. 7 yards on that play. Ramos with the grab. Second and 3 for the Pack. Right up the middle. To the 20. Hines inside the 5. Nyheim Hines finding an extra gear. Dowles makes the tackle, but 38 yards on the play for Hines.
Who can't play running back for this football team? Everybody they put back there has been successful breaking off big runs, and here comes the tempo again.
First and goal. Goes to the goal line, knocked down at the 1. It's Hines again who got the call.
They're running shifts, they're running motions, they're running off tackle, they're running fly sweeps. Matt Canada is doing a great job of disguising what they're trying to do. And on the right side of NC State's offense, really opened up a huge hole for Nyheim Hines to break through. There's the 2 young guys on the right side, Tony Adams and Tyler Jones, the freshman and sophomore, that complement the 2 graduates on the left side of the ball.
Second and goal now. Brissett going through the progression. We'll just sail that one incomplete into the stands.
Live to play another down. That's just so smart by a graduate player. He understands he doesn't have to force it. He's got another down. They've been rolling on offense. That's why he's only got 2 interceptions on the year. He's just really smart when plays break down and he's in scramble drill. And so many times people try to just force it when it's not there and gets their team in trouble.
His first incompletion of the game, now 7 of 8 for Brissett, but you'll take that incompletion and go to 3rd and goal. Toward the goal line and in. The Wolfpack to the end zone again with Reggie Gillespie.
Another running back, another effective play. Great blocking up front, starting with the center, Quentin Schooley, number 60. And then on the right side of the line, look at the surge by Tony Adams and Tyler Jones. We just talked about them. These have been 2 fantastic drives Matt Canada has orchestrated, and Jacoby Brissett for the Pack.
14-3 now for NC State. Gillespie had the TD run, but it was Naheem Hines going 38 yards to set up the touchdown. And we'll be back after a word from your local ACC station.
And what's a tailgate without the Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits? It's bow time!
It's bow time at Bojangles. Grab a big bow box and feed the whole group with Bojangles chicken, biscuits, fixin' and tea. Bojangles giving 50 lucky winners the opportunity to tailgate at the ACC Fan Fest with a big bow box and win a pair of tickets to the Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship game. Enter online at theacc.com/bowbox or by texting bowbox to 24247. Second possession of the game and another touchdown. This one 6 plays, 73 yards in just under 2 minutes.
When you talk about firing on all cylinders, I don't think Syracuse has any idea right now what's going on offense because of the dynamic and different formations and motions they're showing them every play.
Esteem past the 30 and up to at least the 37-yard line on the return by Brisley Esteem. 31 yards.
Well, this is why he ties the national record right now with 2 punt returns, but on the kick returns, he's just as dangerous. The guy's a little water bug when he gets the ball in his hands. Tough to bring down. He's good at following his blocker. That's what I think I like the most about him is patient. Patient running in the return game typically leads to success.
Yeah, Riley took one back against URI in the opening game and then at Florida State. Those both punt return TDs for Esteem. 1st and 10 for the Orange. Mahoney gets swallowed up and driven back close to the 30. He's going to lose 3 on the play.
Arius Moore, linebacker number 58, sniffed that out from the beginning. Number 1, you take away the dive, and the second is the quarterback. Took away the dive. Arius Moore met Zach Mahoney in the backfield with those Iron Pack uniforms ready to take him on. That was a gang tackle. 5 guys taking him down at once.
2nd and 13 for Syracuse. Mahoney trying to get away, and he's cut down and capsized at the 35-yard line. He's the Food Line impact players for NC State while on defense.
Well, Mr. Mike Rose, I mean, you talk about a vibrant personality both on and off the field. He's really, really probably the best speed rusher, I think, in the ACC, if not the entire country. And then a secondary, this is the general of the defense. He's a 3-year starter. He sets all the formations and fronts and coverages. One of 3 seniors on this young defense on NC State.
Mike Rose with 10.5 sacks on the season. That leads the team, and now a penalty marker's come out. The early indication, and now the true indication, it's against Syracuse.
They started to bring a field blitz from NC State, and I think they weren't ready to pick it up. Got them a little bit on their heels, moved them back 5 yards.
NC State leads the overall series 7-1. They're even 1 win apiece in ACC play. Syracuse in its 3rd year in the ACC, and now facing 3rd and 17. Mahoney dropped the snap, had to fall on it. Right at about the 27-yard line. Did he maintain possession?
When it rains, it pours. Don't turn one mistake into a second. First a false start penalty, then taking their eyes off the ball, looking for the rush. Zach Mahoney, you got to secure the ball first and foremost. That was just an ugly 3-and-out, and not the way you try to slow down this NC State momentum, because the crowd's in it and the team's rolling right now, Tom.
Riley Dixon, best punter in the ACC. Almost 45 yards per punt, comes out for the Orange. From the 20. Cherry at the 40. near midfield and stepping out of bounds. Braylon Cherry on the punt return of 51 yards.
Great wall set up by NC State. Really didn't have to make much of a move. It was just a good return wall set up by the Pack. And the long snapper getting in there to slow him down. I thought that thing was going to the house, Tom.
Cherry doing it on special teams. Third best in the conference on punt returns. The average is over 13 yards per return. That one for 31 yards after the punt was 52 yards by Dixon. From the 49 to the orange. Second level. And close to the 35-yard line. Jalen Samuels on the carry. Sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina, just down the road, and he picks up 13 yards. That's the final play of the first quarter. Jacoby Brissett and the Pack with a 14-3 lead on the ACC Network in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Tom, I don't know if I've seen a more balanced Clemson team in the last 10 to 15 years. They're getting it done on both sides of the ball and deservedly the #1 team in the country. I think it's going to be tough for the Deacs to try to get a win today.
Brissett rolling to his right. Thompson chasing. Floats it out, but incomplete. Looking for Hines. Cordell Hudson was back there defensively. Time for the Tums. First quarter stats. Jacoby Brissett. Only one incompletion, and that one was on purpose as he threw it into the stands. 7 of 8, 78 yards.
And no surprise there. I think it's been impressive, number one, what he's doing, but how they've been able to run the football. The offensive line for North Carolina State is just completely dominating the line of scrimmage battle and opening up holes, making it easy for Naheem Hines and Jalen Samuels, all of them to run all over Syracuse.
159 total yards in the first quarter for NC State. That's Reggie Gillespie. He'll get 6 on the carry. He's got a TD run coming in the first quarter for the freshman from High Point, North Carolina.
You know, when they first lost Shadrack Thornton and then the injury to Matt Days, everybody thought, what are we going to do at running back? And just watch. I mean, they've got 3 guys they rotate in, and they don't skip a beat. I mean, it shows you what kind of recruits Dave Doran's brought in over the last couple years and how good and talented they are in this backfield.
Matt Days, a season-ending toe injury, October 31st against the Clemson Tigers. This on 3rd and 4 now. Might be just a little bit shy of the marker after picking up 2 by Jalen Samuels. It is going to be 4th down. Brissett remains in the game for the Wolfpack, going for it on 4th down.
I think we may see a play action and get Jacoby Brissett out on his feet outside the pocket with a run pass threat.
They have converted on 10 of 19 4th down opportunities this season. Brissett complete. Ramos, 23-yard line, good enough for a 1st down. 6 yards on the play. Jermichael Ramos makes the grab.
Really was good coverage by number 15, Jonathan Alston. It was just a better throw and catch by Ramos and Brissett.
They'll swing it out to Hines, and he's dragged down at the 30-yard line. Donnie Simmons, Zaire Franklin making the play on Hines out in space.
Zaire Franklin, great reaction. He sees what it's going to be, just a bubble screen, trying to get him with tempo. Doesn't get number 4, Mr. Zaire Franklin, who leads their team with tackles this year. Only a sophomore. Coaches say he plays like a senior, and he's got the football smarts of a senior as well. So huge asset to this team.
All the receivers at the disposal of Jacoby Brissett. He's hit 6 different receivers, trying to buy some time in this one. Again, he'll sail that one towards the seats. You know, Riley, we had a chance to chat with Jacoby Brissett. What a mature, poised, polished young man who runs this team on the field and off the field as well. Great leader.
I think that's the biggest thing, is off the field. You know, there's a lot of young guys on this team. They're looking for that stability from a key player. And as your quarterback, they say he bakes cookies for his offensive lineman. He writes them notes. You know, he's just that team guy that everybody loves to be around him. You get in tight situations, that carries a lot of weight. People don't really realize.
Were you effective with the baked goods in your days at Wake Forest for your teammates?
I hate to say, I hope nobody listening that played with me, because I never baked anybody's food.
Brissett trying to cook up a TD, but it's too far. Brissett was looking to the end zone. Jonathan Alston, number 15.
Yeah, it was good coverage by Juwan Dowells. He stays in his hip pocket, doesn't turn around, but plays the receiver and forces Jacoby Brissett to put it only where nobody can get it, and that was deep.
Dowells, a redshirt freshman from Sunrise, Florida, making the play, and that'll be a field goal attempt coming up from Bambard, 46 yards away. If he can connect, it would be the longest of the season for the freshman. 5 of 11 on the year, and kicks for Bambard. Off the upright. No good.
That's huge.
Bambard trying to put more points on the board for the Pack. Doink, right off the upright.
ACC football is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. By Progressive Insurance. By Coke Industries. And by Bojangles. It's bow time.
A look inside the Close King practice facility. Fantastic building, newly built this summer to house the Wolfpack football team. Riley, Nikki, me, our producer, Alex Formartino all had a chance to look at that beautiful new building on this campus right near Carter-Finley Stadium. And there's Mahoney, and he cannot escape. Too many gray shirts.
Good pursuit by number 58, Arius Moore. There's a reason why he leads the team in tackles. Mahoney had nowhere to go. They played that triple option very well. Had a quarterback defender, had a running back defender, and got the dive. 61 tackles on the year. Only a sophomore. This guy's special.
Loss of 2 on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 12. Mahoney from the pocket, deflected away. Knocked away on the pass attempt by Zach Mahoney. Contavious Streets, number 35.
Here's the rule. If you can't penetrate, then elevate. That's exactly what he does. He can't get by on the pass rush. Right in Mahoney's lane, get those big arms up. Force a 3rd and 12.
Sophomore from Greenville, North Carolina.
Syracuse really needs to convert here to keep some momentum going and keep their defense off the field.
Looking for that first 3rd down conversion of the game for the Orange. And now Mahoney. He gets away but tumbles down. Bradley Chubb finally finished him off. Number 49 for the Wolfpack.
Both a good rush by Bradley Chubb in pursuit, but I call that a coverage sack because they played man-to-man coverage across the board and absolutely suffocated the receivers. Nobody that Mahoney could go to. He was looking, and then eventually number 49, Bradley Chubb's going to get to the quarterback. ACC Defensive Lineman of the Week versus Boston College. Right now he's got 52 tackles, 2nd on the team, and what a stud he can be.
And now 5.5 sacks on the season for Chubb. Cherry has to backtrack. Dixon, another boomer. From the 28, flag comes out. He falls down at the 22. It's another 52-yard punt from Riley Dixon, and that one hanging up in the air almost 5 seconds for Dixon. But there is a penalty marker on the play, Riley Skinner.
I watched this kid, Riley Dixon, punt on the field before the game. It sounded like one of these cannons going off.
Illegal block in the back. Number 19. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
So the Wolfpack will have the ball, but here's the play by Chubb, Riley.
Bradley Chubb, relentless in his pursuit, gets Zach Mahoney on the ground. We'll be back in Raleigh in just a minute.
4 14-3 on the ACC network. NC State with a lead against Syracuse in the second quarter. Here's today's trivia question, courtesy of Duke Energy. Mike Rose leads the ACC with 10.5 sacks. Who are the only two Wolfpack players to collect more sacks in a single season? We'll check back later in the game for the answer. For more trivia, download ACC Trivia powered by Duke Energy from your app store. Chew on that one.
I know one answer, and I can't for the life of me figure out the second, and the guys in our truck won't even tell me.
You got some time to think about it. Worst starting field position of the game for NC State. That's going to be a loss on the play. Antoine Cordy took down Braylon Cherry. And for more on Jacoby Brissett, we check in with Nikki.
Well, you know, this week when we were talking to Jacoby, I mean, look, this is his final season, and the final season for a few other guys on the team. He said he knows it's coming to an end, but it's been fun. He said he's been soaking in these last few practices and games. He said we even had a chance to have a little fun at practice this week. Our left tackle, Joe Tooney, was playing quarterback even. He said it's just good to see my teammates enjoy it. A lot of us won't get a chance to play again. Riley, you know a little something about that, huh?
It's every now and then we let our offensive lineman play quarterback, but not too much. But hey, I tell you what, though, the last week of your last season, you really do have to kind of soak it all in, which is what he's doing.
So 3rd and 9 now. Hines made the catch. Jacoby Brissett thus far. He's got that TD pass. Threw that to Jalen Samuels in the first quarter. NC State has been dominant in the first quarter against the opposition, but now on 3rd down, Brissett lets it go right at the marker, up close to the 25, and a first down. 12 yards on the play.
That was a beautiful route pattern. It looked like they were going to run a wheel route, and the corner plays it like he's going to continue upfield, but he finds the sticks, turns around, and Jacoby puts a beautiful throw right on the chest.
Gavin Locklear, the sophomore from Apex, North Carolina, making the catch. Just his 5th of the season, but it produces a first down on 3rd down for NC State and a fresh set of downs. Hines to the near side. Won't get much. Chased down there by Antoine Cordy. Speedy. No gain on the play.
That's twice we've seen Antoine Cordy make a great open field tackle one-on-one, which is not easy against number 7, Nyheim Hines. Knocks the receiver back into him, gets a little 2-for-1 there. But Antoine Cordy making plays all over the place right now.
2nd and 10, that clock with 8:40 to go.
Yeah,
that's Ron Thompson there, who's going to walk off and go towards that Syracuse bench area.
Well, I didn't tell Nikki, but we never let our linemen play quarterback for us, but every Thursday you'd have big boy ball, which is all offensive linemen play, just a fast, brisk walk football game. It was one of the funnier things I've ever seen.
Brissett, little fake, slides up to the 30-yard line for Jacoby Brissett. He got 2 on that play.
Thought he's going to dump it off to Nyheim Hines in the flat. He had plenty of green space in front of him. But again, that's why number 12 so smart, so efficient. Stays away from the bad plays.
Ron Thompson sat out for 1 play, but he's back in there defensively for Syracuse. Junior from Southfield, Michigan. You need him on the edge to try to contain.
That's one guy you cannot have off the field for this Orange defense.
3 of 5 on 3rd down for NC State. Brissett has the time. And the catch made at the 35-yard line. 7 yards, Jermichael Ramos.
I mean, we continue to say it, but it needs to be said how good Jacoby is of being patient with his feet. He could have easily tried to force a ball down the field. He knows he's getting good protection up front from his line. And Jermichael Ramos, again, good job of his scramble drill. When you're the shallow guy, you go deep. When you're the deep guy, you come back to the quarterback, which is what 85 did. And got right to the sticks, and here we go, another 4th down conversion.
Yeah, Ramos came up a little bit short. Here's 4th down. They swing it out. Hines made a move at the 35, across the 40, still on his feet. Up to the 47, 12 yards, and a first down for the Wolfpack, Nyheim Hines.
We said he could be the X factor today, and so far he has been. We've seen him running it. We've seen him catching it. And look at the catch by his slot receiver. This could have been a 3-yard loss, but a good job of just trying to cut block, getting the defender off his feet, and allow number 7 to do his thing. And boy, can he be electric with the ball in his hand.
Riley, you're right. It was Cherry with that little block. Hines with his 3rd catch of the game, and it produces a first down on 4th down. Now a big rush, 2nd level. Reggie Gillespie. He's down close to the 41 or 2-yard line. He's got 12 yards. Back-to-back first downs for the Pack.
Exhaustion for the Syracuse Orange defense is all I can think about right now. The tempo that NC State is playing at is fantastic, and they're being efficient with everything they're doing. But Tom, not only that, they're giving it to everybody on the team. Everybody's getting touches, which makes it hard for this Cuse defense to key in on one particular player.
6 different rushers, 7 different receivers. They go right up the middle again. NC State is coming off a loss last week at number 16, then number 16, Florida State, 34-17. They led in the first quarter 17-7. Defensively, they also forced 5 turnovers in that game, but came up short against Florida State.
You know, we've seen them do this tempo offense some during the season, but not as much as they are right now. I wonder if the little Matt Canada, Scott Schaefer connection, they see a hole they can exploit each other with, that they're trying this out.
Samuels to the 20. $14 yards and a first down. Jalen Samuels already has a TD grab in the game.
Pick your poison. Matt Canada doing a fantastic job of disguising their runs and their passes. The hole widens open with this. The fly motion they continue to bring. It spreads your defense. It spreads the linebackers, makes them move laterally so they can gash them north and south with Jalen Samuels. The play calling has just been superb so far from the Pack.
Hand it off again. A much shorter game this time for Jalen Samuels, the sophomore from Charlotte. Maybe a yard on the play. Marquise Hodge, number 33, on the tackle, the junior from Miami, Florida.
Tom, the reason they can do so many things pre-snap with the shift motion, the misalignment, everything that they're moving their players around with the fly sweep is because Jacoby Brissett is so smart. He's a veteran guy. He can handle all that pre-snap material, which not a lot of young quarterbacks can do.
2nd and 9. Completed the 18. Inside the 15. Jonathan Alston making the catch. He got 3 on the play.
Try to do a little boundary tunnel screen, run the motion away, and then get your tight end Cole Cook out in the back to get it. But good awareness by that Syracuse defense and a shoestring tackle to keep them from breaking a big one again.
Caden Samuels made the play defensively for the Orange, but backed up now with that ball inside the 15 and 3rd and 6. 3.5 minutes to go in the half. Brissett to the 2, spinning at the 2. To Michael Ramos, 1st and goal Pack. There's a Syracuse player behind the play who is shaken up.
Well, they clear it out with Gavin Locklear, and then all they do is just bring Ramos underneath. It's a beautiful route. Get the guys deep, thinking you're going to go into the end zone. Jermichael cuts his route off right in front of the end zone, puts him up for a good option to get into the end zone before half. Here comes your local break.
The Wolfpack knocking on the door here in Raleigh, North Carolina on the ACC Network. Carter-Finley Stadium on a perfect Saturday afternoon for college football. Look at Brissett on this drive. 47 yards and perfect. They'll hand this one off. Trying to string it out, diving for the line, and he's in. Naheem Hines walking in from 4 yards out. Another Pack TD.
They've gassed him with the motion and get him up the middle. This time they give it off to Naheem Hines on the jet sweep, and great stop blocking by his outside buddies at receiver to get him in the end zone. Just a good job of using the versatility and the speed of Nyheim Hines. Matt Canada is brilliant right now, what he's doing with this offense. The Orange has no idea what to expect snap after snap.
They're barred for the extra point. Nyheim Hines with his first rushing touchdown of the season. Couple on the ground and one through the air for the Pack. 21-3. Time for a Hardee's update, and coming up tonight, Fenway Park will be the site. Notre Dame and Boston College in the Shamrock Series. That's at 7:30 tonight. Now, not only is it the first game since 1968, but the first BC game since 1956, when the Eagles lost to Holy Cross College of Worcester, Massachusetts, 7-0. And that takes us right to the college football playoff rankings, and they're brought to you by Progressive Notre Dame at number 4.
You're so full of knowledge.
Dropping knowledge, Riley.
I tell you, I'm going to be surprised if North Carolina does not climb farther in the polls if they get a convincing win over the Hokies today.
North Carolina has a 7-3 lead at halftime against Virginia Tech. In the final home game for Frank Beamer. If they win that game, they'll become bowl eligible. That would be 23 bowl games for Frank Beamer.
Amazing.
Today's coverage of ACC football being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network. We welcome the men and women of the U.S. Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. We're so proud to have you with us and hope you're enjoying the broadcast. It is Military Appreciation Day here at Carter-Finley Stadium, Raleigh, North Carolina, on the ACC Network. We got a couple of flags coming out on this play as Mahoney handed off for the Orange.
Offsides, defense, number 98, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So the penalty against the Wolfpack, and Riley on the first drive of the game in the first quarter for Syracuse. They got 3 points, nice drive down the field. Since then, not a lot of productivity.
No, and you kind of question, should they have gone for it on that 4th and 1? What do they have to lose? And the way that NC State's moving, they've got to be a little more aggressive. Take a couple more shots downfield off that triple option, throwing the football.
Mahoney wants to toss it, finds a seam at midfield and complete. It's going to be Ben Lewis, the tight end. He's been an effective receiver today. 21 yards on the connection, Mahoney and Lewis.
Offensive coordinator Tim Lester must have a earpiece into this broadcast. That's exactly what they did. What you call just a wheel route. It's just a simple curl, and you bring a flat, turn it up into a wheel. Mahoney does a good job putting it on his back shoulder, not allowing him to get blown up there on the sideline. That's what I want to see from Syracuse a little more. Just be aggressive.
Mahoney's first start of the year came September 26th against then number 8 LSU, where he threw 3 second-half touchdowns in a losing effort. Jordan Fredericks into the pile, about the 47-yard line, and a short gain for Fredericks.
One thing you notice that the Pack's defense is doing very well is they're not committing their shoulders one way or another in that triple option, what makes it tough for Zach Mahoney to read whether to give or to pull the football.
We've got some whistles as the play develops.
Timeout. North Carolina State.
So NC State
30-second timeout.
will take a timeout with 1:48 to go. Time for a Hardee's update. We just told you about North Carolina trying to clinch the Coastal Division. Should it win or Pittsburgh lose, North Carolina will be the Coastal champs. And this is Marquise Williams. He'll carry it. Look at the patience. He's having an outstanding season. North Carolina with the lead 7-3. That's at halftime. Lane Stadium in the final home game for the legend Frank Beamer. Again, North Carolina, they lost their first game of the year to South Carolina, have not lost since, and are trying to make their way to Charlotte for December 5th in that ACC championship game. Don't forget, coming up next week, our matchup on the ACC Network. Right after the ACC Blitz, Duke and Wake Forest going head-to-head. The Blue Devils have won the last 3 meetings between the teams. 2nd and 8. Fredericks just got swallowed up by a lot of gray shirts with Those Wolfpack scratch designs on those Iron Wolf uniforms, and now a very late flag, Riley.
They got some sort of momentum moving the football right now, and the last thing you do, you hope this is not against them, because you can't have self-inflicted wounds when you're down 21-3 trying to move the ball.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct against the defense, number 4. This is his first unsportsmanlike penalty. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Number 4 on that roster for Dave Doran is Gerard Fernandez, and it was Phillips, or Fredericks rather, on the run.
Things getting a little chippy down there. That's unfortunate because the Pack played that play so good and then didn't really see what exactly it was that caused the flag, but it was something because they flew that flag with a lot of confidence.
Syracuse has elected to take a timeout with 1:37 to go and moving the ball into Pack territory, aided by that most recent personal foul. The Ram Power Play is brought to you by the Ram 1500. We just talked about Marquise Williams, the quarterback for North Carolina. Well, how about this? He powered North Carolina over Miami last week with 4 total touchdowns, 3 of them on the ground. Williams' marquee run came from 13 yards out of the second quarter. A play that saw the Tar Heel quarterback barrel over several Hurricane defenders on his way to the end zone. And that's this week's Ram Trucks Power Play. He's got another rushing touchdown in their game against Virginia Tech. And North Carolina will wrap up the season against NC State right here at Carter-Finley Stadium. Nice rivalry to finish it off. Now Mahoney looking for the end zone. And it is caught. Irvin Phillips. 30 yards. Mahoney to the end zone and Phillips.
We just talked about it. That's the beauty of the triple option. It allows you to go down the field and get behind receivers. That's exactly what Irvin Phillips does. Catches the linebacker peeking in the backfield on the mesh. And Irvin Phillips, he really did have 2 open guys that he could have thrown to right there. He had number 84 as tight end Ben Lewis, but he went to his sure-handed guy Irvin Phillips. And great play. Hold on to it when he hits the ground. Zach Mahoney, give him a little life here for the Orange.
The 5th receiving TD of the season for Irvin Phillips, and for Zach Mahoney, his 5th touchdown pass. Orange down 21-9 are going to attempt the 2-point conversion with just 1:31 to go in the first half.
Free play.
There is a flag on the play. He was looking for a steam in the back of the end zone. But a penalty flag, and it's going against NC State.
Defense, half the distance is the penalty. Try.
You know, it's an interesting call going for 2 here. So early in the game, just before half. I particularly don't see the reason to go for 2. Just take your point, get down 11. And if you need to make these kind of calls 3rd, 4th quarter, do it. But this is quite early to go for 2. But Scott Safer said to heck with it. Let's do it.
The cue's for 2. Mahoney shovels it forward. Phillips dropped at the 4. Justin Burris was making sure that that conversion would not come to pass.
The graduate corner's making his mark before he leaves Carter-Finley Stadium. Good read on Irvin Phillips, just a shovel pass trying to get it to him, and he just lays the shoulder on Mr. Phillips. Said, no, sir, you will not get your 2-point conversion on my field.
Let's check in with Nikki now. More on Mahoney, Nikki.
I spoke earlier in the open about how Mahoney is one of the most well-liked guys on the team, and in fact, before every game in the warm-ups, he is shaking hands with all of his teammates. You guys, he literally has a handshake with just about every teammate. That's right, and this is a big deal for Mahoney. Look at him, he's already shaken 2 hands, 3 hands, and he keeps going and going. Now, the one guy he doesn't have a special handshake with is his offensive coordinator and Coach Lester. Coach Lester told us this week that, hey, you come home with the win, you'll get your special handshake. And Riley and I, we were out there early on the field talking to Lester about it. You guys, it's a big storyline for the quarterback.
Was that a belly rub I saw?
I'm loving the belly rub.
You'd ask for the belly rub, Wormy.
I'm a fan. Great work by our crew to keep an eye on Mahoney prior to the game and see all those different handshakes, secret handshakes. There was a flag on the return by Hines.
My question is, how did Nicky not get a handshake?
During the return, holding, number 44, 10-yard penalty, first down.
I'm sure that's coming eventually.
She made that bet with Coach Lester as well. They get a W, Nicky gets a new handshake.
Coach Doran.
Correction, the penalty is half the distance.
How about the effort from Samuels and Nyheim Hines? Samuels has a TD catch in the game, and Hines has a touchdown run.
Well, talking with the coaches, they just said they're so diverse and so dynamic in what they can do. I think that the most impressive thing is how good they are catching the football. Makes it so hard to stop them, and here we go again.
Up past the 20 to Quay Nichols. Number 27, the sophomore, Rockingham, North Carolina.
And you think you got 2 sophomores and a freshman between the guys that we're talking about.
13 yards on that play, Riley. Here's another big run. That's going to be Nichols again. Trying to work his way out to the 35 for a first down.
And we've talked about the running backs, but let's not disregard Tony Adams, Tyler Jones, Quentin Schooley, the center, right guard, and right tackle. They are being untouched until 8 to 10 yards down the field. This offensive line, again, is winning the line of scrimmage battle with ease right now.
Nichols again for 7.
Charge timeout.
Now a timeout
North
taken.
Carolina State, 30-second timeout.
By NC State with 50 seconds remaining in the second quarter for Jacoby Brissett of the Wolfpack. And Coach Dorn in his 3rd season on the sidelines. Relive over 60 classic football games, all for free, courtesy of the ACC and your local Toyota dealers. Back in 2002, Phillip Rivers led a dynamic comeback for the Wolfpack, leading NC State to 24 unanswered points against North Carolina to grab a 34-17 rivalry game win. Visit theacc.com/vault. Brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And guess who they play next week? It's North Carolina to wrap up the season. NC State and the Heels. Phillip Rivers, a 3-time bowl MVP in his years here at NC State.
I think now, Tom, we're going to see NC State have to start taking shots down the field. We've only got under a minute left before we get to halftime, and they're on their side of the 50-yard line. I think we're going to see Jacoby Brissett start to air it out and find his receivers down the sideline, but it's tough because the majority of their throws are to running backs, tight ends, halfbacks. So throwing to the receivers downfield isn't something they do a whole lot in this offense.
162 yards rushing in the first half. They're going to add to that total past midfield and close to the 40. Reggie Gillespie, 19 yards. Pack moving quickly. And now 35 seconds to go. Now down to the 27. And Gillespie again.
Ron Thompson saved a touchdown there with the shoestring tackle. And I was wrong. Don't throw it. Just keep running it in these 10-foot gaps on the offensive line. And look what they're doing on the right side of the line. I mean, Ron Thompson, number 13, the defensive end for Syracuse, is 9 yards down the field. And then they hit him again. Reggie Gillespie, untouched, one arm tackle. He does a good job bouncing off his defenders and his linemen. But, man, are they running the ball well today.
Yeah, he's got 6 carries, 55 yards. Brissett looking to the end zone. And it's incomplete. David Greenidge was the intended receiver for the Wolfpack. It's going to stop the clock with an even 20 seconds to go in the half.
This was a great throw. I thought he was going to come down with this football. But you got to give Zaire Franklin, we've talked about him all day, as a linebacker running with the tight end, does a great job of not getting a pass interference, keeping stride for stride with them and disrupting that catch. Saved a touchdown.
4 of 7 on third down of the game for NC State, leading 21-9. Brissett has a touchdown pass, wants to throw again. And this one is going to be picked off. Antoine Cordy went up and got it.
Check out the elevation of number 8, Antoine Cordy. We've talked about him in his tackling, but that was a one-arm interception. Jacoby Brissett, a very rare interception, but trying to stick across the field, 12-yard curl over a flat defender and under a deep defender. Maybe a little bit questionable on the read. I think he felt with 15 seconds left he had to try to force it. Only his 3rd interception of the season.
First interception of the year for Antoine Cordy.
We're seeing a little life in Syracuse. This is a huge way to go into the locker room. First with a missed field goal by NC State, and then with an interception as they're driving.
Mahoney threw a 30-yard touchdown pass to Irvin Phillips late in the second quarter to give the Orange their first TD of the game, and they'll go to the locker room trailing NC State 21-9 as we head down to the field. And Nicky Noto.
Coach, a very rare interception by your quarterback in Jacoby Brissett, but he's been super effective hitting 6 of his receivers. What do you like so far in your offense in the first half?
21 points. You know, we moved the ball, we possessed the ball. I mean, other than that, we've had some pretty good drives, and we're running the ball very effectively. Receivers have done a nice job catching it for them, and they're going to play hard. We got to make plays and continue to do what we're doing. And disappointing, we gave up a score there, but defense got to come back out here and have a great 30 minutes.
Speaking of your defense, I mean, they've been effective in stuffing the offense on third downs, a sack by Chubb. I mean, what more do you need to see from those guys on that side of the ball?
We just play clean. You know, there's a lot of talking going on out there, and we can't let that get to us and have, you know, some post-snap things happen. We just got to play smart, do what we do, be physical, and make everybody proud that's watching us play.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Tom?
Nikki, thank you. And coming up on our Hyundai halftime report, Katie Witham, Tommy Bowden size up the ACC Player of the Year race from our Charlotte studio. We'll have highlights of our first half of action. 3 touchdowns for the Pack. Syracuse with a late TD and a toss by Mahoney to Phillips. Halftime in Raleigh on the ACC Network. The Pack and the Cuse. The Pack has the 21-9 lead. Halftime, straight ahead.
Welcome to our Hyundai halftime report. We are coming to you live from Carter-Finley Stadium. And right now, the Wolfpack, they are leading the Orange 21-9 just before the half. You know, NC State, they've been controlling the ball for most of the half. There was an uncharacteristic pick by Jacoby Brissett. But hey, they've got 4 running backs right now that have over 40 yards in the game. Syracuse was pretty quiet in the first half, but finally, just before the half, Zach Mahoney, the quarterback, he found Irv Phillips for the touchdown. It was 30 yards. So they're finally gaining some momentum, and we'll see how they come out of the gate strong in the second half. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Geico Best of the ACC. Despite missing 1 game with a concussion, Brad Kaya leads the ACC in passing yards per game after a 326-yard performance against UNC. The Hurricane sophomore followed closely by Clemson's Deshaun Watson and Virginia's Matt Johns. And Syracuse Grizzly Esteems, while he leads the ACC in punt return average, the Syracuse Speedster has 2 punt returns for touchdowns this season and ranks 2nd nationally with over 19 yards per return. And that's our Geico Best of the ACC. And here we have Naheem Hines, the freshman, having a huge game right now for the Wolfpack. We'll have more coming up. Stick with us.
We welcome you back to the Hyundai halftime report. Carter-Finley Stadium. Tom and Riley with you at halftime. And Riley, your impressions of the first half that we saw between Syracuse and NC State?
All NC State offense. What they've been able to do on the ground with their crew of running backs. And then Jacoby Brissett has been extremely efficient throwing the football and spreading the wealth, throwing to 6, 7, 8 different guys on the field.
Yeah, it was 8 different receivers in the first half, and 6 different NC State players carried the football in the first half. We'll recap the first 30 minutes minutes, and this is Brissett on the run to Samuels for the TD.
First drive was beautiful, marched all the way down the field and found the playmaker, Jalen Samuels, in the end zone.
Reggie Gillespie, part of that rushing attack for NC State, 192 yards on the ground in the first half, and then Hines sprinting to the edge into the end zone.
With fly sweeps, they're doing it all different ways, throwing, passing, running. And then it was Syracuse to Irvin Phillips. They finally took off from the triple option, started pushing the ball down the field. When they did that, Zach Mahoney was effective. They just didn't do it very much.
That was a 30-yard touchdown pass from Mahoney. Let's take a look at our halftime stats. They're presented by Duke Energy. We go inside the numbers with Brissett and Hines for NC State.
Well, a very rare interception by Jacoby Brissett, but other than that, he looked extremely comfortable out there in charge of this offense, really has Syracuse on their heels, and Nyheim Hines have done it both ways, running the football, catching the football. I said in the beginning, he may be the X factor, and so far, he has been that. I mean, look at 317 yards so far of total offense by the NC State Wolfpack. Impressive first half.
And 47 offensive plays to just 19 for Syracuse. So we'll take a timeout. 21-9, the lead for NC State. Time for a Hyundai update. We go back to North Carolina and Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. This is Marquise Williams. Look at this run, but he can't get it into the end zone. He's down to the 1. The Virginia Tech defense stops him on the attempt to get it in there, and they have to settle for a field goal. 10-3, the lead now for North Carolina. It's in the third, 8:20 to go. The Tar Heels up to number 17 in the land in the final game at home for head coach Frank Beamer. Jacoby Brissett, the NC State Wolfpack, with a 21-9 advantage for Brissett. 15 of 21, 125 yards passing, and 1 TD pass for Brissett.
He looked in complete control, distributing the football to all his different receivers. Really had full control, not only of his team, but reading the defense really well. He threw the ball down the field. He found the short intermediate passes. And Jacoby Brissett, this is why they talked about him as being the leader on and off the field. Everybody followed his lead, and right now the Wolfpack's offense is humming.
Touchdown pass was to Jalen Samuels, and for Brissett, his 38th career TD pass.
Strange to see a 1 under the interception column when you're doing a Jacoby Brissett game. He's been so efficient with the football, just his 3rd interception of the year.
Our Coach's Insight is presented by PNC Bank. Here's Nikki with Coach Schaefer.
Coach, finally some momentum at the end of the first half, a touchdown and then a pick. What are your thoughts on how everything went the first half?
Well, first and foremost, you got to give North Carolina State credit. We did a poor job on first down. They were really good on first down. I think they had eight plays, 4 more on first down. You can't do that and play good defense. We weren't good enough playing in our gaps. We got to maintain our gaps. We got to get hats to the football. So obviously we didn't do a good enough job. Then when we did get some stops, they beat us on 4th down twice, and you know, we can't have that. So we got to come back to the second half. We got to out-tough them. We got to out-physical them. We got to get hats to the football and then try to make some plays. I think we got some good adjustments on offense. I'm looking forward to watching, but we just got to fight the good fight. Come on back out and fight our tails off.
Fight. Thanks, Coach.
Hey, thanks, Nick.
Tom?
Nikki, thank you. Zach Mahoney getting his 3rd start of the season. The numbers from the first half, 92 yards in total. That long TD pass of 30 yards to Irvin Phillips late in the second quarter to give the Orange its first touchdown of the game. Now, the reason that Mahoney rather is in the game is Eric Dungey. We know he's a tough customer, but he's taken some shots. This was a concussion against Central Michigan, a game that Syracuse won in overtime. Against Pittsburgh, upper body injury. He would return in this game against Pittsburgh, a game the Orange would lose on a last-second field goal. And then a head injury against Louisville as he took this shot late in this game, did not return, and has not played since. In fact, Dungey unable to make the trip to Raleigh today for this game against NC State. So Mahoney in there, and he gets ready to work in the second half. Dungey was effective, had some great highlight plays during his play this season, but the head injury forcing him out of action.
Well, he was phenomenal. He was an unbelievable quarterback for the Syracuse Orange, but you've got to be concerned for his career. I mean, he's a freshman. He's got a lot of years ahead of him to play some good football. And what Coach Schaefer, we talked to him, he just said that when he comes back to play, he knows that he's got to slide. I mean, he's very dynamic on his feet. He extends plays. He's kind of that wow factor. But if you want to have longevity in this conference and play for a long time, you've got to be smart of when you slide and when you stay upright.
ACC football is brought to you in HD by your local Tire Pros dealer. Win a VIP trip for 2 to the ACC Championship and Continental Tires at TireProSweepstakes.com. North Carolina, if it wins today or Pittsburgh loses, would earn a spot as the Coastal Division champ against Clemson, which has already clinched the Atlantic Division. First time in 3 years that Florida State will not represent the Atlantic. Just moments away from the start of the second half. Grizzly Esteem, the deep man for the Syracuse Orange.
I want to see if they kick it to him. Last time they pooch punted and keep it away out of Esteem's hands.
Esteem, 2 or 3 strides deep, and he will remain in the end zone.
I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of adjustments Coach Schaefer mentioned when he was talking with Nicky they're going to make on the offensive side of the ball in the second half, because they started to open it up a little bit towards the end, and he was efficient throwing the football, but they just didn't do it very much. You saw 4 of 6 passing. When they passed, it was great. But being down 21-9, you got to start pressing the gas a little bit, extending the field north and south, not as much east and west in the run game.
See how much the freshmen have been responsible for the offense for the Orange this year. This is a sophomore, Mahoney. Right up the middle. To the 30. To the 10. And it's Fredericks all the way. 75 yards for the Orange to open up the second half.
That must be one of the adjustments that Coach Schaefer was talking about. Wow. What a way to start the half. They got caught up in the triple option. Look at them. The defensive end and the linebacker just get frozen, and Bradley Chubb, his shoulders go towards the motion back. And off he goes. Jordan Fredericks, number 22. Wow.
Murphy's got the extra point. So the Orange closed the first half with a TD pass. And then they give it to Fredericks, and he rambles 75 yards for the touchdown run. It's the 4th TD run of the season for the freshman Jordan Fredericks.
And watch the safety. This is what these sweep motions can do. You see him going in the backfield, and so he follows his man, completely gives up the deep middle of the field. One misstep by Bradley Chubb, the defensive end, and it's off to the races. The freshman, Jordan Fredericks, lighting it up starting this second half with some fire.
A one-play drive in just 10 seconds. We just told you right before that play that Syracuse freshmen account for 68% of the total offense. Well, that figure might go up just a little bit after Fredericks, the freshman from Inwood, New York, goes the distance from 75 yards away for the score. Hines will be the return man for the Wolfpack. From the 1. 25. Forced out of bounds just beyond the 25-yard line. That's a 26-yard return, Nyheim Hines. And the complexion of this football game has changed dramatically after that 75-yard run.
It has, and really, Tom, it's been since that missed field goal by NC State is when you just felt the shift in the momentum right off the upright. Syracuse really took advantage of that missed opportunity from North Carolina State and has put it on with a late touchdown before the half, getting some confidence going in Zach Mahoney. Now the run game getting started. we got ourselves a ball game for the second half.
Coach Schaefer told Nicky, fight, 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 and that's what the Orange have done in the opening moments of the second half. This will be DeQuay Nichols. Not a whole lot for Nichols. Nothing on the play. Second and 10 for the Wolfpack. Our first and 10 line brought to you by YP.com. The even more powerful Yellow Pages. One app, one site. YP can do that. Brissett in the pocket. Had Jermichael Ramos twisted around.
Well, he had his check down receiver in the flat with about 25 yards of real estate before he met any defender. I thought Jacoby Brissett just tried to force that throw down the field. There was a lot of traffic. If he would have just turned to his left and dumped it off to his motion man, he could have got 10, 15, possibly 20-plus yards on that drive.
After the incompletion, 3rd and 10. Brissett puts a little air under that one, and Ramos runs under it. Down to the 40 of Syracuse.
It was man-to-man coverage across the board. Safety was through the field, so he just put trust in Jermichael Ramos to beat him off the ball, and that's exactly what he does with his size and strength. Good ball control, and great pass by number 12.
34 yards on that play. Nichols tries to squirt through the line.
We talked about momentum, and you felt like after that last incompletion, if they got off the field, Syracuse was just going to continue to take the momentum. But the graduate, number 12, Mr. Brissett, keeping that defense off the field, keeping their defense fresh, moving the football. I think we're going to see Jacoby Brissett starting extending the ball down the field a little more. It looks like they've made adjustments on the Syracuse defense to really stop this run game now.
Offensive lineman Schooley got his shoe back on. This pass to Ramos. A little too much mustard. You know, Brissett does it all. He even ties his teammates' shoes when they need help with their footwear along that offensive line.
He's a giver.
Looks like Schooley's back in action.
Ted Taylor came in on the blitz from the field. I think put a little pressure on Jacoby Brissett to get it out earlier than he wanted. But a good dialed-up blitz by the defensive coordinator, Chuck Bulla.
Dave Doran, his team, 8 wins a season ago to the St. Petersburg Bowl in a victory. 3 wins the year before, trying to up the ante a little bit here in 2015. Big 3rd down. 3rd and 7 for the Pack. Brissett's pass is behind Ramos. There is no marker. No marker.
I don't know what all the boos are for. This is just great coverage by Juwan Dowells. I mean, there might be a little bit of a pull, but look, the ball was uncatchable. He played him inside. Jacoby was trying to throw it to his inside shoulder. There was nowhere to go with that football. Syracuse again locks down man-to-man coverage, and here we go. They're going for it on 4th and 7.
From the Syracuse 37-yard line. Brissett's back of the shotgun. Trying to buy a little time over the middle. It's completed at the 25-yard line. David Greenidge making the catch.
Nice job by Greenidge to get underneath the defender. Just a little top route, which is a 10-yard in-breaking route. Jacoby Brissett buys time with his feet, delivers a strike.
Got 11 on 4th down. This one down to the 10. It's Greenidge again. He drags some orange shirts close to the 5. How about the effort from David Greenidge?
The big body at 6'5", 265 says, jump on. I'm going to take you close to the end zone. Here we go with the tempo again.
Go to the end zone. Touchdown, NC State. Jermichael Ramos, 5 yards out. Greenidge, then Ramos.
One-handed, left hand in the corner. One-on-one. Every time Syracuse is going one-on-one, Jacoby Brissett starting to lick his chops. He puts it at the highest point where only his receiver, Jamichael Ramos, can get it. That's exactly what he did there. What body control. Spinning around with his left hand, bringing it down the corner of the end zone. They're going to review it, but from what we can see up here, Tom, that looks like 6.
If it stands for Ramos, it'd be his 3rd TD catch of the season, the 2nd TD toss of the game for Jacoby Brissett to a similar area where he hit Jalen Samuels, who took a couple steps and got in. That one, Ramos, as we take a look, this is under review.
Good control, brings it down, solidifies the catch with his left foot in the end zone. That's the best look there, and I don't see any kind of evidence that would dispute the touchdown.
Once again,
what a play.
Yeah, once again, Riley, the call on the field is touchdown. You need indisputable video evidence to overturn the call. Our referee is Jeff Heiser.
Those are 2 big one-on-one plays that number 85, Jamichael Ramos, has made on this drive. And I think, here comes the call.
The ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
So the Wolfpack now up 27-16. Career TD pass number 39 for Jacoby Brissett. There's the extra point attempt coming up from Bambard. No issue there. Time to step aside. 28-16. Jamichael Ramos, one-handed, got the foot in. TD pack.
ACC football is being brought to you by Food Lion. Life's better with a lion. By Duke Energy. By Coyote Tractor. And by Geico, saving people money for over 75 years.
One of the all-time greats to wear a Pack uniform, Mario Williams, at the defensive end position, takes us right to our trivia question. We asked you early in the game what 2 NC State players have recorded more than 10.5 sacks in a season. The answer, Mario Williams and Tyler Lawrence with 11 back in '93. Riley Skinner.
I was way off. I had Mario, did not have Tyler.
For more trivia, download ACC Trivia, powered by Duke Energy, from your app store.
I thought it was Manny Lawson.
So NC State just put it in the end zone, a couple of big conversions, and here was the first one on 3rd down, Riley.
Again, man coverage. Jamichael Ramos stepped up, and then it was his 4th down play. David Greenidge, that was huge. Goes back to the man coverage to Jamichael Ramos. He liked what he saw. And that's just effort and skill. One-handed, left-hand turnaround catch.
1st and goal is a good situation to be in if you're the Wolfpack. 23 of 27. Ramos with the touchdown grab. He's got 7 catches in the game, 77 yards. And both career high for Ramos with those 7 grabs. Try to work it wide. This will be Phillips up the sideline, trying to get close to the 40. And out of bounds right at the 40-yard line, 15 yards. Irvin Phillips, who does have a touchdown catch, came in the 2nd quarter.
Well, they finally got the numbers they wanted. They put Bradley Chubb in a predicament. 2-on-1s, exactly how that offense is schemed to set up. NC State's done a good job so far today of eliminating that for the most part.
Just to give you a little perspective on this series, NC State won at Syracuse last year 24-17. 2 years ago, the Orange won 24-10. Right here at Carter-Finley Stadium, it was the first ACC victory for Syracuse in its entry into the ACC, but they'll lose 2 there on the run by Fredericks. That'll bring up 2nd and 12. Syracuse already has a national title to its credit in the fall. The men's cross-country team winning the ACC's first ever NCAA men's cross-country title. The field hockey will play for a national title tomorrow for that field hockey team for the Orange. In fact, 3 ACC teams were at the Final Four. Now Mahoney He gets stopped behind the line. He'll drop a couple, maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
That was beautifully played by NC State. They stretch him out to the right. Zach Mahoney had nowhere to go. They take away the dive. They take away the quarterback, and they take away the pitch man. That's pretty much clinic tape of how you play that.
Syracuse has not converted on third down in the game. They're 0 for 3. Gray shirt surrounding Mahoney. Now 3rd and 12.
Just a 4-man rush.
Looking left. Grizzly Esteem, the closest orange receiver in the vicinity, but incomplete.
Interesting play call. That was a one receiver route on that side of the field. There's 3 defenders over there. They roll Zach Mahoney out to the left, but it's just a 12-yard curl route with 4 different defenders from NC State. The rest of his receivers were on the top of the screen. I don't know if that was a miscommunication or how they drew it up, but didn't give Mahoney a lot of options.
Before Dixon can punt it away, we get a whistle. It's against the orange.
Tom, I was talking earlier about Riley Dixon, the punter. I was down on the field during the warm-ups. Watching that kid punt was something to see. I mean, he was hitting 50, 60-yard punts. Tire spirals, I don't know if I've ever thrown in a college game, but like I said, it sounded like that military cannon they were shooting off when that ball came off his foot. He's one of the finalists for the Ray Guy Award, down to 10 possibilities.
Fair catch, 16-yard line. Hanging that up there almost 5 seconds for Dixon as Cherry makes the successful fair catch after a 51-yard punt from Riley Dixon. Military Appreciation Day in Raleigh. Raleigh, North Carolina on the ACC Network. 28-16 for the Pack. Look at Nichols and Gillespie, both with career highs rushing. You throw Hines and Samuels into the mix. That's a pretty good recipe right there, Riley.
Well, look at the averages. 6, 9, 11, 8.2. Shows you what kind of holes this offensive line is opening up for the backfield. They got a crew of talented players behind scrimmage.
Left side, Samuels. Maybe the 16-yard line. Not a lot there. No gain.
Tom, Syracuse Orange defense has had a little bit of a rough go of it so far, but when you look at their team, they've got 1 senior on Syracuse's defense. The rest are mainly all freshmen and sophomores and 2 juniors. So it's a very, very young Orange defense.
2nd and 10. Brissett wants to throw it. Pressure from the edge, and he goes down. Ronnie Charles was there. Jawan Dowell's number 15. That's a loss of 10 on the play for NC State.
Well, a good blitz dialed up by Chuck Bullitt because this was a long play-action play that allowed the defense to get home. You see he's setting up in the pocket, and Jawan Dowells came off the field, off the edge untouched, and he's been all over the place today, Tom.
Redshirt freshman in that lineup for Syracuse. Ronnie Charles was credited with the sack, but Dowells made sure he finished off Brissett. 3rd and 20 from the 6. Samuels. Forced out by Dowells, and Zaire Franklin. Has been some very physical play by both of these teams. We're time for a Hyundai update here, and we'll check in on North Carolina and Virginia Tech. Michael Brewer calls his own number right up the middle and just gets into the end zone. Hey, look at the score now in Frank Beamer's final home game. It's 10-10. After Brewer gets to the end zone, they're starting the 4th quarter. Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. 10-10 now, North Carolina and Virginia Tech. The Steam to his right from the 39. Flag came out. The Steam gets to the 46, another flag comes out, so 2 penalty markers, a 49-yard punt, a 3-yard return. But again, 2 penalty markers. Jeff Heiser, our referee. He's saying there are 2 fouls on the play. The first one declined. The second one accepted.
2 blocking the back.
Yeah, both against Scott Schaefer in the orange. And we had a chat with Dave Doran, Riley, yesterday, and we'll talk about what he had to say to us in our meetings yesterday. North Carolina State has the lead. Syracuse has the ball. We'll be back after a word from your local ACC station. You are watching the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports, also streaming live now on the ACC.com and the official ACC mobile app. Don't forget, next week, the ACC Blitz gets you started at noon, and then it's Duke and Wake Forest. ACC last year, 41-21. This time, they're in Winston-Salem to close out the season. Syracuse with the football. Fredericks. They'll get George Morris II involved in the rushing game.
Good job by North Carolina State using the 12th defender, which is the sideline, getting him close there, and loses the football. 12th defender was a friend of Syracuse there.
14 carries. Yeah, Riley, 14 carries, 80 yards, and a career high last week in the loss to Clemson for George Morris. Mahoney was looking for Ishmael. Penalty marker. Trying to separate there defensively.
Good coverage right till the last 2 to 3 steps. Too much contact for the refs. Yeah, you can't drape your arm over the receiver's elbow. That's going to get called 10 times out of 10 there.
Jack Tocho was back there defensively, the junior from Charlotte, North Carolina.
You know, Tom, it was funny talking to Tim Lester, Syracuse offensive coordinator. They said the one thing that Zach Mahoney struggles with is the deep ball. It's the trajectory that he has a hard time getting comfortable with. You saw there, even without a pass interference, I don't know if that ball would have been completed. They've been working on it day after day throughout this whole week, trying to get them better at those downfield passes.
7 penalties against NC State for 70 yards. Mahoney flipped it off. Ball's on the turf. Who's got it? NC State has taken over.
It's the risk you run with the triple option. You get a lot of balls changing hands, and that's just a complete drop by Irvin Phillips. Nothing more. Taking your eyes off the ball, looking at the defenders, hearing a little footsteps, and wasn't able to get back on the football, but good pursuit by North Carolina State. And number 2, Josh Jones, the sophomore, getting in on the fumble recovery.
First of the season for Jones. Mahoney has to go back to the headset.
Seen a lot of momentum shifts here in the second half, Tom.
John Raymond making the defensive play on the rush by NC State. That's a loss of 2.
Good quick get off by number 50, John Raymond, the senior, to meet him in the backfield.
Approaching the 7-minute mark of the third quarter. 2nd and 12. Brissett. Pass is incomplete. Zaire Franklin was all over the intended receiver, David Greenidge.
We've talked about Zaire Franklin's ability to make tackles. He leads the team, but today we've seen his pass coverage abilities have been exceptional. One down the field on the 40-yard pass to Greenidge, and the other right there on the little 5-yard out. Stays in their hip pocket. Does a good job of locating the football, not drawing a pass interference. And as a linebacker, you don't see that very often. A 6'2", 230-pound guy with hips like Zaire Franklin.
Sophomore from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And now 3rd and 12. Brissett sidesteps one defender but cannot get away. Makes his way up to the 45-yard line. Ted Taylor is there, number 37 in white and orange. Zaire Franklin also in there.
Good coverage. This is a coverage sack. Nothing downfield for Jacoby Brissett. Nowhere to go to. And Ted Taylor, over pursuit, uses a spin move and retracts his steps of what you're told to do as a pass rusher. Pass the quarterback, just trace your steps, and that's what he does.
Cole to punt. Grizzly Esteen comes up to the 21 to make the fair catch after the 35-yard punt. Now time to take a look at our Haviland defensive shield. NC State last week in their loss to Florida State. How about 3 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries? They've got 9 forced turnovers in the last 2 games at Boston College and Florida State. That turnover margin, second best in the ACC. It was a 34-17 loss on the road at Florida State. And then they fall on the fumble by Phillips. NC State able to get on it with Josh Jones. Mahoney going deep. Ishmael too far for him. Justin Burris trying to go stride for stride with Steve Ishmael.
Again, that's exactly what we're talking about. The struggle of Zach Mahoney to throw the ball down the field. He's got a wide open receiver. I say wide open, he's got 2 to 3 steps on him, but enough to drop it in there. And it's, again, where he's not been able to take advantage of this triple option. You don't get a whole lot of opportunities to throw the ball downfield to open receivers. So when you do, you've got to take advantage of them. Those are 2 missed opportunities for the Syracuse Orange for 30, 40-plus yard gains.
Mahoney 4 of 8 through the air, 92 yards, and a TD toss in the second quarter. This one he pitches out. Dante Strickland, number 18, coming up to meet him. Dravius Wright's number 8. It's a loss of 1.
That's a hard tackle to make in the open field, one-on-one with a running back. And Dravius Wright does a fantastic job of breaking down, getting his body set, staying low to the ground, and tackling the ball carrier. That was a big stop, because if he got by Dravius Wright, he had some real estate.
NC State, one of the better defenses in the ACC, 4th in the conference, allowing the opposition about 314 yards per game. Syracuse 0 for 4 on 3rd down. Over the middle, intercepted. Intercepted to the end zone. And a touchdown. Darian Roseborough.
What a blitz dialed up by Dave Huxtable. They bring a safety. Oh, we got a flag on the field. Post touchdown.
So Roseborough and his teammates celebrating, but again, there is a penalty marker. There's a 20-yard return on the interception of Zach Mahoney. Just his 2nd interception of the season, but Roseborough running all the way to the end zone.
That's 11 turnovers in the last 2.5 games. It's amazing. Dave Huxtable's done a fantastic job as a coordinator, getting them to be ball hawks.
So an unsportsmanlike against NC State and a disqualification. Syracuse also receiving an unsportsmanlike. Touchdown will stand. As Riley noted, all that came after the TD return of 20 yards by Darian Roseborough. So let's take a look at it and sort out these personal fouls and unsportsmanlike plays.
Well, you see the field blitz come from the wide side of the field. And then Roseboro, he's just the backside linebacker that reads the eyes of Mahoney, shifts his feet towards the crossing route, throws it right in the breadbasket. And that's got to be fun for a linebacker. You don't get many opportunities to get in the end zone and celebrate. Again, just momentum change after momentum change after momentum change here in this second half.
First interception of the season for Roseboro, the freshman from Lincolnton, North Carolina. Oh, that snap was wide.
Wow. Did they get it? What a job by the holder.
Gambard knocks it through. Monty Nelson is the player that has been disqualified from the game, so he'll head back to the dressing room.
I want to know how he held that snap up while he was laying on his side.
After all that, it is an NC State touchdown.
I think Dave Dorn's over there asking, how the heck did you get that ball on the ground and upright?
Yeah, A.J. Cole, the holder, who's the punter, was able to grab that wayward snap.
Showing a little athleticism. Who says holders can't be athletic?
So Dave Dorn's team had that 21-9 halftime lead. Syracuse came out and scored the first touchdown of the second half. But right now, the Pack fans are enjoying this one on a perfect afternoon for college football as we approach 3 o'clock on the East Coast. 35-16 now NC State after the interception and touchdown return from Darian Roseboro. His first pick of the season produces 6 points. Steam, the deep man for Syracuse, trailing 35-16. You've got 5:20 to go in the third quarter.
They don't want to kick it to Esteem.
Up at the 29, it's a fair catch. Haviland's giving you a chance to vote on this season's best offensive and defensive players and head coach. Visit the ACC.com/fanvote to make your picks from across the league. Cast your vote today.
Tom, here's the problem with the triple option type offense is when you're down 35-16, you don't have the play calling ability to start stretching it down the field over and over again and confuse these defenses. So it puts you behind the 8 ball significantly when you get this kind of deficit.
Quick pass is caught. Steve Ishmael. That's 18 yards on that play.
Nice little pop pass. They fake the triple option, sets his feet, turns his shoulders, and fires a strike to Ishmael. Catches it in traffic. He's been pretty silent so far in this game. We talked about him before as one of the impact players. I want to see him start targeting Steve Ishmael, their best receiver, more than they have so far today.
His first catch of the game, 32nd of the season for Steve Ishmael. Across midfield is Phillips. Time for a Hyundai update. We're going back to NC State and Virginia Tech, or North Carolina rather, and Virginia Tech. North Carolina needs this win to win the Coastal. Elijah Hood takes it right up the middle. He's untouched, and North Carolina in the fourth has a 17-10 lead. Now Pittsburgh does play Louisville later on today. Should Pittsburgh lose and North Carolina lose at Virginia Tech, they would still get in. But North Carolina, if it wins, they're going for the first time to the ACC championship game as the representative from the Coastal Division. Mahoney gets away from initial pressure. Has some room to run. Mahoney 35 and stepping out at the 31-yard line.
There are those legs we talked about. The threat he poses running the football. Nothing there. Good athletic move. And then just gets the edge and takes off. That's exactly what they said he does so well. Contavious Street, number 35, the defensive tackle, really didn't have a whole lot of hope once it was a foot race.
First and 10 for the Orange. And the 31 of the Pack. Maybe one. We want to tell our stations down the line, the next break is commercial 19. Once again, the next break is commercial 19. 3 minutes, 10 seconds. Scott Schaefer, Dave Doran, head-to-head. Third time as members of the Atlantic Coast Conference. NC State winning on the road last year at the Dome. 2nd and 9. Mahoney's pass is incomplete. Looking for Ishmael. Let's check in with Nikki Noto on more on the ejection.
Yeah, guys, so Monty Nelson was escorted to the locker room. He is ejected for the game, and I was told that there was a little tussle going on there on the field, and maybe a punch was thrown. So that's kind of what we're working with right now.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, thanks for the update there.
That'll get you thrown out every time.
That's the information we got. Now 3rd and 9 for the Orange. And Zach Mahoney, the sophomore. 0 for 5 on 3rd down in the game for Syracuse. And now there's a whistle and a timeout. And the Orange have taken it.
So far, when NC State's dialed up a blitz, they've been pretty successful on this drive. Look for NC State and Dave Huxtable to confuse Zach Mahoney in the protection to get him out on the blitz.
We welcome the audience from Miami watching the Canes and the Yellow Jackets. They've got a weather delay there in Miami, so let's update you on our situation. 35-16, NC State. First it's Samuels on the pass from Jacoby Brissett. Then they get to the end zone again. Gillespie barrels over the defenders. And Naheem Hines, the quickest on the edge.
They did it all sorts of ways, but then it was Syracuse coming back with a triple option pass to Irvin Phillips. Got him going, and then first play of the 3rd quarter, they take it 75 yards to a touchdown, but then it was all NC State after that.
A couple of turnovers by the Orange, an interception returned by Roseboro for NC State for a touchdown.
False start, offense, number 18, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That hurts.
2 years ago, Scott Schaefer took Syracuse to a bowl game. They won the Texas Bowl against Minnesota, but last year 3-9, 1-7 in conference play. They're 3-7 overall this year, and 1-5 in the ACC. They have not won a road game. 0-4. Trying to make a comeback here in the 3rd. Pressure on Mahoney, gets away. But he's got no receiver to throw to. Already out of bounds when he released that football.
Oh, no, don't throw across your body, jumping out of bounds. I think Scott Schaefer held his breath on that one. That could have been ugly.
So Josh Jones maybe shaken up a little bit on the play. He's going to come to the NC State side of the field. That last play was a loss of 3 for the Orange. So it's now 4th down for Syracuse with 2:42 to go. Now, Riley Dixon, number 92, is the punter. It appears that they're setting up for a field goal with Cole Murphy, the usual field goal kicker. They'll let Dixon give it a shot.
The pooch. Not as planned.
Well, prior to the play, I was going to say that Syracuse has, on a number of occasions this season, run a fake punt. So in this instance, just a little punt. And now NC State's going to get the ball back. Let's continue that recap as we have the audience from Miami and Georgia Tech in a weather delay. This is the second half. Now, Riley was telling you, Jordan Fredericks, 75 yards. Watch number 22, busted up the seam.
They confused them with the motion. They brought the safety over towards the boundary, and it was just a free lane for Frederick. But then Jacoby Brissett was just slinging the ball all around. But this is the one. This was the dagger for Syracuse. NC State brought a blitz. Darian Roseborough comes in with a huge interception for a touchdown to get him up 35-16, which is where we are now.
Some numbers to support the afternoon effort of Jacoby Brissett, who's up to 195 yards passing. The one interception, that's such a rarity. He's only thrown 3 on the season. Now he swings this one out to the left, and Samuels, it is ruled an incomplete pass.
Well, the worst stat of that entire graphic we just saw was Syracuse 0 for 6 on 3rd down. They haven't been able to move the change very well and keep their defense off. And the more that this defense is on the field, a young defense, the more exhausted and tired they're going to get. And right now, NC State has a plethora of running backs they can cycle through and keep people fresh. So they need to get off the field and have a long, sustainable drive for the Cuse to get back in this thing.
Jacoby Brissett on the afternoon, 20 of 31, 201 yards, a couple of TDs, and that one interception as the play clock winds down to 2. Brissett tries to take off. He runs into the waiting arms of Ron Thompson. Oliver Vigil, Ted Taylor.
Ron Thompson was not fooled one bit by that draw play. He met him right at the line of scrimmage.
Wolfpack to punt. A.J. Cole. Grizzly Esteem waits at his 34. Just did get it away. And now Esteem makes the fair catch. Well, there is that big award at the end of the season, the Heisman Trophy, and when you're the quarterback on the best team in the entire country, you think that Deshaun Watson will be on the list. Well, here's Tommy Bowden's Heisman ballot. He's got Deshaun on there, but he's got Derrick Henry and Leonard Fournette still in the mix, and Dalvin Cook for Florida State. Riley?
Well, I respectfully disagree.
Wait, this is different
with
now.
Coach Bowden.
Yes.
I got Deshaun Watson at #1. Dalvin Cook still in that top 4. But Deshaun Watson, he's the best player on the best team.
There you go.
And I've always said it. To determine that, if you take him off the field, what does your team look like?
Mahoney deep, but that is too far for Esteem. So they try the deep ball once again, and it is inaccurate.
Again, you can't say it enough how important it is to be able to hit these throws, because they've got steps on the defenders. I mean, look at that. You've got to put it on them, lead them to the field, and he throws it like it's a streak route. Just a lot of inconsistency in Zach Mahoney's ability to throw the deep ball. They said his shoulder gets too high sometimes in the front, and that causes too much trajectory. He's got to find a happy medium to be able to get it to his receivers, because they're getting strides on the defenders.
Mahoney pitches out. NC State is ready. Phillips nowhere to go, loses 3. Number 49 is Bradley Chubb. Comes from a great football playing family, and he makes the tackle for loss. He's over 10 tackles for loss for the season now for Chubb.
Yeah, I know his brother Brandon Chubb that's at Wake Forest, and not only are they both good football players, but they're just better people. Really, really great family, good character, and have done a lot for their respective teams at Wake and NC State.
3rd and 13 for Syracuse. Mahoney has to go back the other way. It's away, and then he's tackled at the 45-yard line. B.J. Hill on the tackle, 7 yards for Mahoney, but that will bring up 4th down. And before we can get to that 4th down play, it appears that the clock will run out in the 3rd for the Pack in the orange. 4th quarter is straight ahead. Fredericks started the half with the long run, but it's been all NC State from there. 35-16 in Raleigh, North Carolina on the ACC Network. Back in Raleigh, and our third quarter stats are brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery.
Big story, 0 for 7 for Syracuse on third down. Haven't been able to move the chains and keep their defense off the field.
This year, the North Carolina Education Lottery will contribute more than $500 million to help meet North Carolina's education needs. Learn more at nc-educationlottery.org. Start of the fourth. We welcome that audience from Miami in a lightning delay with Georgia Tech and the Canes. That's going to go into the end zone. That was a 60-yard punt, but it'll come back out. 14:52 as we start the fourth quarter. Zach Mahoney, his third start of the season for Syracuse. Trying to get some instruction on that bench. Jacoby Brissett, a couple of TD passes by Brissett in this game. Jermichael Ramos, Jalen Samuels have caught the TD passes. Our first and 10 line is brought to you by YP.com. The even more powerful Yellow Pages. One app, one site. YP can do that. Senior from West Palm Beach, Florida. Little play action. Slides in at the 25.
It's been interesting. It's been a little bit of the tale of the two halves for North Carolina State's offense. At the beginning, it was all run. I mean, they were running all over Syracuse defense, but Coach Schaefer talked about the halftime adjustments. They've come out, and now North Carolina State has gone more towards their passing game in the arm of Jacoby Brissett. So I think it is the adjustment that Syracuse has made on the defense side of the football that has started to dictate what the Pack are doing on offense.
Want to let the audience watching that Miami-Georgia Tech game know that that game will resume in Miami at 3:15 Eastern.
False start, offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Penalty against the Pack. Once again, a lightning situation in Miami. So that game will resume 3:15 Eastern, Georgia Tech and Miami. Currently 31-7, Miami has the lead and being delayed. Here it's 35-16 on the ACC Network. So glad you joined us. Tom Wormy, Riley Skinner, Nicky Noto has been down on the sidelines for a perfect afternoon for college football. Bright sunshine to start the day. And now the shadows creeping in here at Carter-Finley Stadium as we're past 3 o'clock on the East Coast. 2nd and 11. Brissett. Nice footwork to get out beyond the 35 to the 37-yard line. Forced out by Chauncey Sissom.
Creative play call. Just a single option to the left. But look at the crack block on the left side of your screen from David Greenidge, the tight end. Defender goes out towards Naheem Hines and leaves Brissett with room in front.
Got 19 on that play. Wants to throw this one. Incomplete. Looking for Ramos. Dowell's back there defensively, and Ramos almost came up with a spectacular diving grab.
It might have gotten away a little push off here. Right there at the end. Little arm extension, but beautiful football thrown by Jacoby Brissett. You don't get a better football than that. 45 yards down the field. Little arm grab there by number 15, Juwan Dowells. They've been going at it all day. That's been a fun matchup to watch, Juwan Dowells and Jermichael Ramos.
Dowells has been a standout in that defensive secondary for the Orange. Hines got that quick little handoff, trying to get the first down up there midfield, and he would appear to have enough on the 11-yard carry. Naheem Hines, the freshman from Garner, North Carolina.
This guy's such a special player, and we knew it coming out of high school. He's a 5-star recruit. What a huge get for Dave Dorn from the recruiting trail, and they're just trying any way they can to get him the football, and you can see why. The speed he has laterally and north and south as well. When he gets the ball in his hands, it's one of those guys you kind of hold your breath. He's got that big play ability every time he touches the football, not only in the offense but also in special teams, returning kicks.
Those big plays are piling up for NC State. Brissett
got Hines.
Rose wide open at the 32. Inside the 20 for Hines. It takes 3 orange helmets to run him out of bounds. Led by Cordell Hudson. Naheem Hines in open spaces and 34 yards.
This is a route we used to call the wheel flood because you have 3 receivers trailing each other, and Nyheim Hines just gets lost as that second receiver. And here we go, back with the tempo.
To the end zone and a touchdown, Nichols. NC State moving quickly, 17 yards, and Nichols to the house.
It's a great use of the up-tempo offense, having the entire defense having to run down the field after the big play, and then just a missed tackle by Syracuse. Good run from DeQuay Nichols. He comes in fresh after the other running backs have been there running up and down the field, and that's a beauty when you got 4 capable players that could be in the backfield making plays for you.
Bambard for the extra point. The first rushing touchdown of the season from the sophomore rather, DeQuay Nichols. 17 yards and the score for the Pack.
ACC football is brought to you by Geico, saving people money for over 75 years. By Tire Pros. By your Carolina Ford dealers. And by Haviland, official motor oil of the ACC.
6 different players have scored a touchdown for NC State. That is that incredible statue out in front of the football facility here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And the Pack well on its way to victory today, 42-16 against the Orange. Morris is deep for the kickoff. From Maples. 20-yard line. Not much further.
Well, here's the touchdown play. This corner right here, Cordell Hudson. It's the toughest thing to do as a corner is to pass up a post pattern to your safety. And what that does, he doesn't pass it up, he runs with it, and then you got Nyheim Hines that comes behind with a real route, and the flat player is going to take the motion receiver on the bottom, just leaves him completely wide open. Their responsibility as a corner is you have the deep third, and you're supposed to pass that off, but it is so hard for a cornerback to pass off a guy running in front of his face.
5 catches and 69 yards for Hines. Jordan Fredericks for 5 yards. Fredericks has that 75-yard TD run. That was the very early moments of this second half. After that run by Fredericks, it was 21-16.
Well, if you're Syracuse, it's time to push it. There's no question about it. You're down 16-42, and you're in the 4th quarter. It's got to be all aggressiveness from here on out.
2nd and 5. Mahoney held out the ball, was waiting for somebody. It turns into a pass play, and it's incomplete.
Well, we talked about Zach Mahoney and the struggle that he has throwing the deep ball. And this is where we've seen it. You get a play action, you got to put the ball on your target, and he's getting too much air under, too much velocity. He struggled. Originally, he was throwing it too low. You can tell they work on him, putting more air into the football, but it's just hard to get into that rhythm right now with the receivers when you're throwing the ball 5-10 yards away from your receiver.
Well, Riley, there were some flags thrown on the previous play. Just a little bit of a scuffle between the two teams. Order restored very quickly, and much cooler heads prevailing.
2 fouls on the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct against the offense, number 9. He is disqualified from any further action. Unsportsmanlike conduct against the defense, number 11. Those penalties offset. Results of the play.
So number 9 for Syracuse is Brisley Esteem, and he has been disqualified as we get a look at it. That's Esteem and Burris. Just a lot of talk and some pushing and shoving, maybe some frustration for Esteem as his team came back to make it a game, but NC State taking over. There might have been
that last little jab is what's going to get you sent to the locker room. We just saw that earlier in this half.
All right, we'll step aside for just a moment. NC State up 42-16 on the ACC network. You are watching the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports, also streaming live now on the ACC.com and the official ACC mobile app. Next week, our final game of the season on the ACC Network. The ACC Blitz gets you ready for all the action on a big Saturday to wrap up the season. Then we've got Duke and Wake Forest. Duke already bowl eligible for the 4th straight year and trying to win their 4th in a row against Wake. Riley, you remember the Duke-Wake game, your first start as a quarterback at Wake Forest, right?
First start and last game. Both played against Thad Lewis, quarterback for Duke. We went 4 years together playing against each other.
Riley, part of that 06 Orange Bowl team and ACC championship team at Wake Forest. That's Mahoney to Strickland.
Good little out pattern. There's no triple option involved in this. It's just a slant with the flat route. Mahoney puts it on him, and I think this is the offense you're going to see for the next 10 minutes and 50 seconds is slinging the football, getting in the shotgun, trying to get it to their playmakers on the outside, because triple option will just eat up way too much clock to try to make a comeback.
That 14-yard pass play producing the first 3rd down conversion of the game for Syracuse as they hand it to George Morris II.
Well, I say that and they go right to the triple option, but again, you're just going to watch how much clock's going to be eaten. You're going to lose 30 seconds. You've got to start pushing the ball down the field, or at least play with some up-tempo here. They're just kind of going business as casual. Interesting philosophy here from Syracuse right now.
Mahoney, the pitch, loss on the play. Loss of 3. Josh Jones is number 2 in those iron pack uniforms against Strickland.
Yeah, we talked earlier about gap discipline. This is good gap discipline. Look at Niles Clark playing the ball really well against Mahoney. And then you got Josh Jones coming in. Them two have been all over the quarterback and the pitch man all day. They've done a really good job of communicating, staying in their lane, staying to their assignment. It's really negated this triple option so far for Syracuse.
NC State wearing those gray Iron Wolf uniforms on Military Appreciation Day and 3rd down for the Orange. Mahoney has the time, delivers, but it's off the hands of Strickland.
Not much to say, just a bad drop. You got a 20-yard in route, gets behind the linebacker, a little behind him, but hit him right there in the face mask. Jack Mahoney looking good, standing in the pocket, throwing the football, but not capitalize on opportunities there. Another 3rd down, they're off the field.
Dixon punts.
Gorgeous punt.
Inside the 10 to the 8 for Cherry. And he gets spun down near the 15 after the 45-yard punt from Dixon. Just a 6-yard return. NC State ball when we come back. Country music artists Dustin Lynch and Tyler Farr will headline ACC Fan Fest on December 5th. Don't miss this free event held outside Bank of America Stadium prior to the ACC Football Championship game. Learn more about ACC Fan Fest by visiting theacc.com. The 11th year of the championship game back in Charlotte once again. Flag came out on the back end of this play on the run by Gillespie. Up to the 40, but again, there's a flag well behind the play.
Offense, number 50. Half the distance is the penalty. 1st down.
So that will negate that rush by Gillespie. Jacoby Brissett staying on the sidelines. Jalen McClendon, the redshirt freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina, gets his chance here in the 4th quarter with 9:05 to go.
You hate that for Reggie Gillespie. That was a hard run. Broke a lot of tackles. He deserved those 30 yards, and to get it called back by a holding call. You just hate that when you see such a good run by a running back just getting negated from an unnecessary hold.
You saw those numbers posted by Jacoby Brissett. Near the 15-yard line. It's a 7-yard pickup for NC State, adding to the rushing totals. That's now 247 total yards rushing for NC State. Quay Nichols is the leading rusher. He's got 79 on 10 carries and a touchdown. In fact, 6 different players have scored TDs in this game.
Been running back by committee all day for the Pack. And this is after losing its top 2 running backs, which is pretty wild.
And Matt Days had run for 865 yards on the season. He was headed toward the 1,000-yard threshold before injury a couple of weeks ago against Clemson. That was October 31st. There's Gillespie on the run. He's got enough for a first down. 10 yards on the pickup. Reggie Gillespie, who had a TD run in the first quarter.
The right side of this offensive line has played exceptionally well today. Number 50, Tony Adams, the right guard, and number 53, Tyler Jones, along with Quentin Schooley, the center. And those are the 2 young guys on the right guard and right tackle side. They've done a phenomenal job creating holes for the running backs all day long.
McClendon at quarterback will hand off. Working up close to the 35-yard line. Reggie Gillespie, and this is all without Matt Days, who rushed for over 100 yards in each of the first 4 games, 5 on the season, but that toe injury and he's out of action.
That was tough because he's such a good player. He's such a benefit for the locker room, and he was going to be their first 1,000-yard rusher in a long time. I believe between 5 to 7 years they haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher, and he was on pace to easily break that number. And the toe injury, you hate it for a guy like that. You could hear it in their voice when the coaches for NC State talked about losing Matt Days for the season.
In their win at Wake Forest for NC State, Days ran for 205 yards, a career high. Touchdown runs against the Demon Deacs. Sorry, Riley, but the runs were 85 and 57 yards. Matt Days ran wild on that day. And here are the guys who are backing him up. Nichols, Gillespie, Hines, and Samuels.
Well, the good thing about them is they all bring a little bit different dynamic to the group. And you've got Hines, who's just explosive and speedy left to right. You've got Samuels, who's 230+ pounds. He runs in between the tackles really well. And the rest of the guys, they've just got their own little niche in that offense. And you've got to be excited if you're the coaching staff for NC State, knowing they're all freshmen and sophomores.
Uh-oh, this one is scooped up by the Orange. Oliver Vigil into the end zone for a Syracuse TD. It's Vigil, number 7.
He just dropped the ball.
I don't think he ever had good possession of it, Riley. That's a 29-yard return by Oliver Vigil, the senior from Miami, Florida.
Well, and the people at home watching this, you think, how the heck does that happen? But playing the position, the quarterback center exchange, when you don't get a ton of reps in a game, really can be a disaster if you don't have good chemistry with your center. And that must have been what the problem was. You couldn't really see it close up, but like you said, Tom, never really had a grasp on it.
Again, McClendon had just come into the game for Jacoby Brissett in his first action at quarterback, and he just kind of dropped the ball, and Vigil picked it up and ran it into the end zone for an Orange score. We'll be back after a word from your local ACC station. Time for a Hyundai update from Blacksburg. And just moments ago, it's Michael Brewer. It's 4th and 2. And Brewer throws it. Isaiah Ford with the catch in the end zone. And look at that score with 1:07 to go. 24-all in Frank Beamer's final game at Lane Stadium. 29 years as the head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies.
Wow.
There's the ACC standings, Riley, brought to you by Belk.
Oh, we know Clemson's there, but the game we just showed is huge. They need one more win to solidify their spot in the ACC championship.
Onside
And
kick.
Syracuse gets it.
And they did. The Orange getting the onside kick, Cordell Hudson. Now, Riley, I asked you in the break, based on the score, does Syracuse go for the onside kick? And I guess that was the game plan.
And I said yes. I said, why not? I mean, really, why not? What do you have to lose? Good pursuit. Ball concentration. Gets the tip from the NC State player. And how about Syracuse making a little surge here?
Cordell Hudson came up with it for the Orange. Shaken up player.
Oh, you hate to
for
see.
NC State. That's Justin Burris. The Wolfpack.
A graduate. He's one of those veteran guys on this team. He's a leader of this defense. You would hate to see this.
Yeah, he's from right here in Raleigh, too.
Serious injury.
Yep. 11 right there. And I think it's Hudson who recovered it, who kind of rolled up on Burris on the left leg. Being helped to the sideline by the training staff.
Well, you hope it's not serious. He's played a heck of a game today. He really has, locking down the receivers on the outside. I like that matchup with Justin Burris and Jamichael Ramos. And
so we've been talking most of the afternoon, Riley, about Zach Mahoney throwing the deep ball. He's just a little bit off, but you really have to give him credit for where he's come from on this roster.
He is, and I wanted to follow up from what we've been talking about today, just to say I understand where he's coming from. This guy's a freshman. He's a fifth-string walk-on. He doesn't have a lot of chemistry and reps with these receivers right now. Excuse me, he's a sophomore, but you know, it takes a little bit to get into that rhythm. It's a 3 games, you know, LSU, Clemson, and now NC State. You got to give him some credit for where he's come from, but that's just one part of his game I think he can work on.
Trying to look for a receiver. Flag came out, throws it incomplete at the 25. There is a flag on the play looking for Cornelius.
Holding, offense, number 57, 10-yard penalty, first down.
I saw that developing the whole time, and it was such an unnecessary hold. You wish the lineman would have known where Mahoney was. He was so far away, 10 yards away probably from the play. You see that there, number 57. Amari Palmer, just an unnecessary hold. Lack of awareness of where your quarterback is. Really puts him on the 8 ball at 1st and 20. Right at 50-yard line.
7 of 16, 129 yards in the game for Mahoney. 1 touchdown pass. That was to Phillips late in the second quarter, and 1 interception, and now a timeout on the field. NC State electing to take its 2nd timeout. So the Orange scooped up a fumble, took it into the end zone. Oliver Vigil, 29-yard return for Vigil. Then they get the onside kick. They've got the football with 5 minutes and 38 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. It's been a great day here in Raleigh. Theme of the day, military appreciation, and we go down to Nikki.
It's Military Appreciation Day, you guys, and there are a couple of young players on this team whose family have ties to being in the active military. You know, you've got MJ Salahuddin, and you see him right there with his family. His dad and his 2 sisters are active in the military. He said that he definitely learned military core values of dedication and hard work. The coolest part of the story, you guys, his dad, well, he was committed to Texas on a full ride to be a quarterback, and he turned it down in order to pay for his family. So MJ says when he goes out there on that field, not only is he playing for his team, but he's playing for his father and the hard work that he put in for his family.
Well, if that doesn't give you chill bumps, I don't know what does.
15-yard penalty, first down.
That's a pretty impressive story, Nikki. Thanks for sharing that. And it's something that is so hard to really put into words, how much you respect and honor what they do. And that's got to mean a lot for MJ to step on this field in Carter-Finley Stadium and wear the jersey with that name on the back of it in honor of his father and his family and what they've done, you know, for this country. So all we got to say is thank you.
His teammate Arius Moore also from a military family, so this day very special to those 2 Wolfpack players wearing those Iron Wolf uniforms. This is complete. And that's Ishmael. Again, a little feistiness. And you see Hakeem Jones there saying, let's just keep this one nice and clean.
Well, you can understand why these receivers for Syracuse, with his team and then Ishmael getting a little chippy. They've gone through 8 quarterbacks in 2 years. So for the receiver, that's a tough thing to get accustomed to. They've had some really, really bad luck with injuries.
To the end zone, it's Phillips, and just beyond his fingertips, Hakeem Jones right there with Phillips. Let's check in with Nikki. She's got more on Burris, NC State.
Yeah, you guys. So Burris, he is just walking to the locker room. I saw him massaging the front part of his left leg, and it has not been confirmed if he's returning to this game. But look, I think he's put in the hard work already with 4:54 to go. Hopefully NC State can hang in there without him.
Nikki, thank you. Under 5 minutes to go in our football game here on the ACC Network. Mahoney pitches out. George Morris, the second, down the sideline, stepped out at the 15 for the junior from Lawrenceville, Georgia, and 11 yards.
Well, they got the numbers they wanted on the right side. Zach Mahoney stretches it out and makes the defender commit to him. Makes Travius Wright make a move one way or the other. Gets it out to George Morris for a nice gain. But again, I mean, it's a nice gain, but down 42-23. You got to start throwing it towards the end zone and taking your shots, because the clock continues to run.
1st and 10. Mahoney has it. That's behind the intended receiver, Steve Ishmael. So Coach Schaefer's team, if the score holds, they're going to drop to 3-8. They did win their first 3 games of the season, but have not won on the road in the ACC, and just 1 victory for Syracuse in the ACC.
Well, I just said 8 quarterbacks in 2 years, and you know, Trell Hunt, who was their guy, we forget about it because it's so long ago, but first quarter of the first game he goes out, and that's who they were depending on for this entire year.
Mahoney's pass to Ishmael at the 5. He's dragged down at the 4. That lone win this season for Syracuse, coming in week 2 against Wake Forest, and they got to move quickly here.
Good slant route by Ishmael. Gets right beyond the linebacker, and really a tough catch in traffic. Ball put right on the money. Sharp throw by Mahoney. Let's see if they can plug it into the end zone here and get 6.
Mahoney fakes the pass, reaches for the end zone. They're saying he stepped out near the 2-yard line. Extended that football, but stepped out short of the pylon.
Well, here's the athleticism of Mahoney. Good job getting the defender up in the air. I thought he got that ball over the pylon. I think he did. He did too.
Officials saying that he stepped out short of the end zone. Ball on the 2, 2nd and goal. Mahoney is sacked. He looked one way and then saw a gray shirt coming at him very quickly.
Well, when you go empty backfield, you got about 2 seconds to throw the football before somebody like that comes in.
Bradley
Chubb comes in to make his presence known in the backfield, because typically you're going to have less blockers than they do have rushers.
Now we're being told that there is a review going on. And it may be what you had referenced, Riley, about Mahoney extending that football.
Well, I was surprised they didn't look at it anyways, because now from the body language of Mahoney running, it looked like he knew it was going in for a touchdown. If you see here, he just, he doesn't get his left foot down. You need a different angle. We need a side angle to see if he got that left foot down before or after. I think it's a touchdown.
So we're also being told, Riley, that the sack by NC State, that play may be wiped off the board because they wanted to get to a review of what is now 2 plays ago. So again, we'll keep an eye on this review. But that sack by Chubb, which would have been his 2nd of the game, may be nullified because of this ongoing review.
to be a huge play because that sack put them from, 3rd and goal from the 1.5 to 3rd and goal from the 7. And I think that left foot of Mahoney was not down prior to the ball crossing the plane of the end zone right here. I think it's absolutely a touchdown. I'm very surprised they didn't look at it earlier, but I'm glad to see they've gone back to potentially rectify it.
With the right foot, stayed inbounds.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Second down.
I don't know why people are booing from NC State right now. That gave a touchdown away.
So we'll call it 2nd and goal from the 2. Mahoney trying to dance his way, maybe got 1. So again, just to clarify, there was a review on Mahoney extending the ball. Now the sack on the next play by Chubb was no play. So this was the 2nd down play right here with Mahoney getting down to about the 1.5-yard line. Everybody good with that now?
Nice clarification.
Thank you. 3rd and goal. Syracuse trying to punch it in. Phillips can't turn the corner. Loss of 1.
Just don't get the play calling here, Tom, with the athletic ability of Mahoney. Get him outside the pocket and give him that run pass option.
2:42 to go, and the Orange will use a timeout. Hey fans, feeling like a champion today? Tire Pros giving you the opportunity to be one with the Tire Pros Road to the Championship Sweepstakes. Enter for a chance to win a VIP trip for 2 to the ACC Championship game and a new set of Continental tires. Enter today at TireProSweepstakes.com. The ACC Championship game in Charlotte, North Carolina. December 5th. And now North Carolina, we've been watching that game at Virginia Tech. They're tied 24-all into overtime. We showed you that late touchdown by the Hokies. Frank Beamer, the final home game in 29 years.
Wow.
29 years on the sideline.
That'd be a way to go
Tech.
out or what?
Amazing.
That'd be unbelievable. And there's not a classier guy in the business than Coach Beamer. And he, along with his team and the whole town of Blacksburg, would want nothing more than to send him out with a W.
They're trying to get to their 23rd straight bowl game. That's the best in the football bowl subdivision. They're in OT with North Carolina. 4th and goal for the Orange. To the end zone. It's a touchdown. The indication comes from the official. One official went to break up the 2 players as Ishmael made the catch. And now there's a flag on the play.
It's going to be a touchdown. I think that's just going to be enforced on the extra point. It's gotten chippy here today inside Carter-Finley Stadium between these 2 teams, especially between receivers and defensive backs.
Maybe the makings of a future rivalry in the ACC between these 2 teams. Dave Doran told us he's got enough rivals. He doesn't need any more, but this one is brewing here at Carter-Finley Stadium and heating up in the latter stages. It's only the 3rd meeting of the teams as members of the ACC, but could be the makings of something great in the future.
The results of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct against number 8. That is his 2nd unsportsmanlike foul. He is disqualified from further action. The penalty be enforced on the kickoff.
So they've now lost their 2 best receivers due to this type of activity.
Riley, right to the left of that play, there was an official. There he comes into the picture there. I think he wanted to signal touchdown, but before he could do that, he wanted to break this up, and then the official behind him comes in and gives the signal. There you go.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against the Syracuse bench. That penalty also enforced on the kickoff. Try.
This is just, it's ugly. Emotions run high towards the end of the season. A team like Syracuse at 3-7, looking to go 3-8. A lot of frustration builds up in these players, but you want it to be a competitive, hard-fought game, but there's never a reason to get in to this type of activity and suspend yourself, let alone 2 of your best receivers, from the football game and potentially into next game.
Yeah, there's been some emotional activity today between these teams. We've got 3 players who have been disqualified from play during the course of the afternoon. 2:37 to go. Syracuse has scored a couple of late touchdowns. A fumble by NC State, and then Oliver Vigil picked it up and ran into the end zone from 29 yards away. Then an onside kick, and now they've scored again on the TD by Ishmael, but subsequently he was disqualified along with his teammate Brisby Esteem earlier in this game. Lost in this maybe the fact that Zach Mahoney's thrown a couple of TD passes in this game for the Orange. Looking to go for 2. Mahoney pumps to the end zone, incomplete. Alvin Cornelius is the intended receiver. Michael Stevens defensively.
That was great coverage by Michael Stevens. He's got 5 pass breakups on the year, but he stays with him. He pump fakes once, tries to get it late to him on the slant. Stays right with him the entire way. This NC State secondary really has done a very good job this afternoon against the Syracuse receivers. Granted, some of those throws have been overthrown that they've been beat on, but for the most part in the intermediate routes, they've really stayed glued to these Orange receivers.
Don't forget, next week the ACC Blitz gets you started at noon, powered by Ram Trucks, and then Duke and Wake Forest, our final ACC Network broadcast of the season. Just want to put out a thanks to our outstanding crew here in Raleigh and all season long of the ACC Network. All the folks who work so hard to bring you these college football games throughout the footprint of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Honored to be with Riley Skinner, Nicky Noto for what will be our final broadcast of the season. Don't forget, next week it's Duke and Wake Forest.
Tom, we were meeting with Dave Doran yesterday. He emphasized their goal for this year from last year was just to improve in the win column, and that they're starting to show that, you know, with the progress that their offense and defense have made, and especially getting a win here, really making this right. They've got to be happy as a staff.
They will improve to 7-4 with the victory. An onside kick from the 10-yard line because of all the penalties, and it's gobbled up by NC State.
If you're Coach Schaefer at this point in the game, I hope on the sideline he huddled them around and told them, keep your composure, keep your head, don't do anything stupid that would embarrass yourself, embarrass the school, embarrass the family, because emotions are running high. There's a lot of blood boiling right now on that field, and 2 minutes, 2:30 left in the game, kind of throwaway plays. This is where a lot of those type of occurrences happen. You hope it doesn't, though.
Wolfpack can't celebrate. They'll move to 3-4 in conference play. It's 1st and 10. Jalen McClendon has come in relief of Jacoby Brissett.
I think Brissett's back in there. After the miscue on the fumble handoff, Dave Doran decided to go back to Jacoby Brissett, get the sure-handed guys in there.
And McClendon was in for 1 series, and now Brissett comes back in. NC State, which won its first 4 games of the season, now 3-2 in their last 5 games, became bowl eligible on November 7th with the win at Boston College, 24-8. Their first win at BC, and Coach Doran told us, since 1937, and that's how they became bowl eligible this season.
I couldn't believe it when I heard that stat.
Amazing.
1937, and they won at Wake this year, which they hadn't won in Winston-Salem since, I believe, 8 years ago.
You're right, Riley, because the home team kept winning those games. We've got that Hyundai update coming for you. North Carolina, Virginia Tech. Remember the Heels, if they win today, they're going to Charlotte on December 5th to participate in the ACC championship game. Hines trying to stretch it out. Cuts at the 18. Hines inside the 5. Look at him go.
Gotta love that effort.
Over 500 yards total offense for NC State. Now, first overtime, Hyundai update. Virginia Tech gets a field goal. 27-24. Williams, quick shot. Davis makes the catch, and the Heels are going to Charlotte in the ACC championship game for the first time. The final in overtime, 30-27, on an emotion-filled day for both sides on that football field. Final home game for Frank Beamer.
And for us in the booth looking at that, such implications on the conference. Wow.
Ronnie Charles is the player shaken up for the Orange. There was 1 minute to play, and now that sets up the matchup at the ACC championship game in Charlotte. Clemson, which is already clinched, will be playing North Carolina.
If there's one team that scares me that could upset Clemson, it's the Tar Heels. Their firepower right now, the momentum they've played with since that loss at South Carolina has been unlike any other. Their receiving core, they've got 5 receivers that are very, very capable of beating any corner. Clemson's got some good corners, but it's going to be firepower against firepower. I think the defensive side of the ball is what's going to determine the winner or the loser here.
Tigers have won 13 games in a row, and they have a lead against Wake Forest at Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. 7-0, that's in the first. You saw Ronnie Charles walking over to the bench. Good to see that he was able to walk under his own strength to that Syracuse bench.
Tell you what, that's going to be a fun game to watch. North Carolina, Clemson, that's a lot of studs on one field playing against each other.
The seats at Bank of America Stadium will be full for that one. December 5th. These are the final seconds of our game this afternoon. Now the final 30 seconds, and NC State and Coach Dave Doran is going to improve to 18-18 overall and 10-10 at home at Carter-Finley Stadium. 7-4 now the record for the Wolfpack, and they play North Carolina next Saturday after winning at North Carolina last year 35-7. The Wolfpack had the lead at halftime, and they finish it off 42-29. Again, the final score, NC State 42, Syracuse 29 on this week's ACC Network game. It was an emotional and intense game between these two teams. 42-29. We go down to Nikki.
Proud of the way the guys fought. We tried to get some backups in and made it interesting there at the end, fumbling, and they executed an onside kick. But I'm proud of our guys. It's win number 7. We got a big rivalry game next week, and I heard Virginia Tech had an upset today, so good for Coach Beamer. I'm happy for him.
That's impressive. You get breaking news like that, Coach. What do you need to? Actually, Carolina won. Yeah, so we're both learning something right now on the side. We were busy doing our job. Coach, thanks so much, and congrats again. Hope you get that 8th win next week.
I appreciate it. Go Pack.
Congratulations to Dave Doran and the Wolfpack.
He got false information there. He thought he was going into a wounded Carolina team.
They get the win 42-29. For highlights and must-see moments from this game and others, check out theACC.com. Join us for the ACC Blitz powered by Ram Trucks next Saturday at noon, followed by Duke and Wake Forest. You've been watching coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference football on the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports.